Hello, happy Friday, and welcome to the Owen and Joe Show, the only place where you can hear history and modern day slang. What's up, guys?
Hey dude, how you doing? Good to see you. Well,
Morning,
good to
morning,
hear you.
or good evening to you, Owen.
Yes, good
Well,
evening to you, Owen.
just only good afternoon, in fact, not quite evening. It's only quarter to four, 10 to 4.
Ah.
Indeed, indeed. But
We're gonna
hey,
get it
that's
worked out. We're gonna figure out how to do the math on the time thing.
we
We'll
are, aren't
get
we, one
there.
day?
Yeah, we'll get it. We'll get it. Just hang in there.
Why is it so difficult? Because it really fucking is,
It's
honestly. Every
just
time
it's
I try
too
and do
hard,
it,
man. I
it
just
Why
can't
is.
can't
do
we
it.
all
I
just have
yeah
the same time? Can't
yeah.
people just accept that they need to stay up all night?
It's
And
too hard.
why
Even
can't
with
why can't they
Chat
standardize towards my
GPT.
life?
None
It
of
do-
it helps. I can't figure it out.
No, it's
Can't do
ridiculous.
it.
Simple,
Can't
simple
do it.
arithmetic. All we got to do is look at the clock and then do +8 for you, and I need to look at the clock and do -8 for me. But I'm always off by at least 2 hours.
Oh yeah, it's just
I try
and
so
and then you
fucking
have to
hard.
ask if it's daylight savings time or not,
right.
and then you go
And
like,
there's
oh, is
all
it
that.
8 or 9 hours? Blah blah blah, and all that stuff. Oh,
Yeah,
did
it's
the
all
other
bollocks.
people do it yet, or did I? Blah. It's so confusing. It's unnecessary. It's dumb.
Dunk, why do you sound like you're high on heroin right now?
Because I am.
Oh, okay.
Oh, good
That
boy.
that would explain that. Okay. I asked a
Unexpected,
question
but
and you gave an
delightful.
answer. I asked a question and you answered it. So there it is, folks.
That's one hell of a test there, man. You must have been
Yeah.
some kind of badass cop at some point, right? You could just detect heroin from the other end of the phone line. Shit.
Yeah. Well, I've always said, you can't get in, you can't pull the wool over my eyes.
No,
I
sir.
just, I could hear the slow, slurring voice there. I could just pick it up.
Wow.
Again,
Granted, that is my
I'm
normal
from San
voice.
Francisco, so
Oh, really?
you know.
That's
Yeah, you didn't
cool.
know that? You didn't know I'm from the
I
yeah,
had no idea. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So like, we're very familiar with the drug culture up there. You pretty much you get into high school, they like give you a joint instead of a textbook.
I thought in
Oh,
San
Yeah,
Francisco
yeah.
they gave you a little chunk of the master loaf or the mother loaf.
the
Y-
fuck?
No clue what you're talking about there, Dunk.
The
It's the
You're
heroin talking right now, isn't
Yeah,
it?
that's the hair. I think that's the heroin, and you're gonna get sent back to the cage.
You are from
Uh,
San Francisco, aren't you guys all obsessed with sourdough bread? Like it's like your god or something? Like you
Ooh.
guys are obsessed with it.
well, sourdough bread, sure, but
Yeah, but the mother loaf, like the we're
saying it
the
more and more
Oh.
doesn't make it real. I'm
the
just
when where all the yeast comes from. We're like
Yes, I
the
see what you're
okay.
saying.
All right. Yeah. Sure. Uh huh. He got it. He got himself some good. He got that good Mexican black. He got that good shit. That's
Gotta fact
powerful.
check myself.
Yeah. You go do that, buddy. Translation. He's gonna go load up another rig.
I think,
Um.
yeah, yeah, I like a bit of sourdough, actually. That's a good
Yeah.
point.
No.
Ah,
It.
shit, I
Well.
should have done
So
it since.
speaking of that, yeah. So like it's part of the whole like. uh
Culture there.
Well, and look, I'm just going to do this once, and then we're just going to move on real quick, okay? And it's Dunk the Junkie's fault, okay? So
Okay,
I'm going to
okay.
just do a quick little history thing, and I'm in and out, okay? It's real quick,
Here we
like
go, here
like
we go.
like Dunk's heroin
We need a
needle,
klaxon. We need a
in and
klaxon.
I'm
out.
not
Somebody,
crazy. There is a
somebody
thing called the
soundboard
mother
it. Come on.
dough.
Yeah,
I'm not
what it
crazy.
is,
It's called mother dough.
mother dough. There you go. Okay, sure. Okay, what it is, it was all of the like gold rush, like the 49ers who came for the gold rush. They just had all these cheap ingredients and they
Mm.
basically made sourdough bread. So it was like again, how like sushi, it's funny how these things, they're like peasants' food, but over
Mm.
time they become, like the delicacy. Again, think of like sushi, it's like a
Yes.
little bit of protein with rice and seaweed. That was food of the peasants. Sourdough,
Right.
same thing. It's just like what the guys who worked in the mines, they could get a little bit of powder, whatever, a little bit of yeast and dough, and there you have some sourdough bread. But it was like, poor man bread. And whatever, San Francisco sort of became the hub for it, and now it's like a big deal there. But anyway, there it is. That's it. Backed out. We're done. We're moving on. We're moving on. Yeah, yep. Oh boy, we're gonna do a ding each time. I
I think we
like
should.
that. That's
I think we
funny.
should.
That is
Yes.
funny, guys. You just hit a ding each time that I go. Just a ding. There you go, Joe. We did it. So we're at one ding. And-
Yes, we need to keep a count as well. We have to keep a fucking. Oh, hang on a minute. Oh, here we go. Oh,
yeah.
whoa, well tight. We're getting carried away here. This has got to be reserved for the real moment, or it's just
No,
not
no,
going to
yeah.
be
For the
half the
real
fun anymore.
Dunk is just like he's,
Just fuck, isn't he? He's just
yeah,
absolutely fucking strung out,
It's
man.
he is
Friday.
just, yeah. Dude, I'm glad you know the day of the week. At least you got that right.
That's true.
Jeez.
It is
See what you
Friday.
get when you work in Hollywood, man. The rumors are true. The rumors are
You
Mhm.
really,
kind of get
really
you
true.
kind of get a contact high from basically everybody around you. It's kind of crazy.
Oh my God, listen to his voice, Owen. You hear
Dude,
that?
that's dude.
Just
I
like
don't know whether to be
fucking
upset or
Janis
jealous.
Joplin. Yeah, you get kind of a can't high. His eyes are probably closed. He's like kind of hunched over as he's standing up.
I'm not
Like,
standing.
yeah, right.
Yeah, he lost that ability ages ago.
Literally asleep as he's standing, somehow
And
talking.
to be honest, I'm impressed as well. It's good effort. Clearly, I mean, you guys. It's what? It's fucking what? 8 o'clock? Not even 8 o'clock in the morning. So I'm very impressed. I have a
I've
great
already been
respect for
up.
people. I have a great respect for people that have a serious drug habit who get on it before breakfast.
Oh yeah.
That's proper.
It's
There is
commitment,
no.
man. It's
That's
commitment.
proper. That is. I mean, I'm saying, as far as I'm concerned, you need to do everything well. No half measures. So
No, there's
if
no half measures there. No. And the
right.
the guy, look, he's productive. He works every day. I mean, he's in the spaces with me.
It's the only way
He
I make it through the day. Let me tell you.
yeah, yeah.
Mm, mm,
You're doing a good
mm.
job, man. You're doing a good job. Most people
That
can't catch
Hollywood
up.
life. It's that
Mm,
Hollywood life.
Half the
Set.
time, I'm just like standing, staring at a wall, like an inch away from it.
kind of swaying back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, dude. Again,
That's a
I've
lofty
I've
goal.
driven I've driven down Skid Row. I've seen the little like fentanyl zombie pose. I know
Mm-hmm.
what you look like right now. I've
Yep.
seen it.
So when I think of San Francisco, I think of the Golden Gate Bridge. That's the canonical San Francisco image, isn't
Totally,
it?
totally. Yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
as a Star Trek fan, it's the headquarters of Starfleet is at San Francisco, and the Golden Gate Bridge features every time they have a shot of Earth at any
Well,
point.
you know what's well, you know what too, just for like Europeans, man, I've noticed like Frisco is like that's like the American city a lot of Europeans like. You
Hmm,
know, there was this girl Jeanette when she was like a foreign exchange student when I was like in God, probably like ninth grade or 10th grade. She's
okay.
from Germany, and I had like a big crush on her. And
Oh,
she,
nice.
she was like, "I want to go to San Francisco," and I'm like, "Taking you to San Francisco, Jeanette." And
Boom. Oh, damn.
she was telling me, she's like, everyone where I'm from, everyone, and she was just like, the whole time, just ear to ear smile, and
Mm.
saw the Golden Gate Bridge, and Pier 39, kind of all the tourist stuff.
Mm.
And she was just like so happy, and she's telling me how, yeah, everyone in Europe, it's like a big, it's a big thing. So maybe it's
Mm.
more of a mainland Europe thing, but yeah,
Owen,
she was
did
super
I ever
super
tell you
into it.
that I died at Starfleet Academy in San
Oh my God, here
Francisco?
we go. Okay, dunk.
Wow.
Okay,
This is gonna
okay,
get. This is the kind of crazy
okay.
nonsensical
You're gonna
bullshit we're gonna get
really,
into.
yeah. You're really gonna derail, Dunk. We need
We
you to
need.
just
He needs his
mute
own
the
sound.
mic,
He
mute
needs
the
his own
mic.
thing.
Yeah,
What are we gonna do for
go
the wait? What
light
does
the
this fucking do?
candle, put
Wait.
the spoon on top of it.
There
Yeah,
it is.
just
There it is. That's Dunk's sound. What Dunk's fucked up on the heroin?
yeah.
He's getting one of them every time. So
Oh, there
Dunk's
you go.
died at Starfleet Academy. Tell me more about your death at Starfleet Academy. Seriously, this is exciting. I want to hear about
No,
this.
no, like it was the 2009 movie, and we were shooting the big death scene, where the giant villains come in to destroy the Earth, and he attacks Starfleet Academy, and I was one of those poor people that the laser got at the end of that movie.
You're fucking kidding me. Dude, that is fucking amazing. Oh my god. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, and
Mate,
I'm the fucking geek, right? I'm the fucking geek. Okay,
dude.
sure. You guys carry on. Go talk about whatever.
Well,
Okay,
look,
yeah,
this is great,
whatever.
Joe. Joe, we perfectly balance each other out. You're a historian. I'm a futurarian, whatever the fuck the opposite of historian is.
And I
Dude,
make
that
shit up.
is. Oh, wait, and you make shit up? No, no, please. This has to be. I believe this now.
No,
I'm not.
that's
Don't,
true. That's
don't, don't,
true.
don't
That's
retract.
true. That's true.
Okay, mate, that's amazing. I fuck, dude. Hey, that's just
Yeah, I
made my
heard.
fucking day.
Is
That's
are you
made my whole
talking about how
week.
you were in the Star Trek movie? Is that what
He's
you're talking about,
actually
Don?
in Star
Yeah.
Trek, mate. Oh my god, this is like meeting fucking William Shatner all over again.
No, it's
This is great.
I was just a red shirt.
I've met them all.
They
I've
killed
met
me
them
in one
all.
movie. It was fine. They killed me.
That's very cool. You were a red shirt. You weren't even just
Yeah,
a
he was a
random
red shirt.
human.
He was a red shirt. Yeah, yeah.
Fuck, dude.
But granted, when
Okay,
you watch that movie, all cadets were kind of red shirts. It was kind of set up that way. We were all wearing red.
you're gonna
But
die. Okay, mate. I need to know the exact time index so I can go and find this, and I will later on. I will watch you die.
okay.
Okay, this is going to be
and
absolutely
and
amazing. I
I
get to
mean,
watch Dunk
there's other stuff
die.
in that movie,
he's
but
half dead right now. Just listen to him. Yeah, I was
I
wearing a
but
know.
red
but
shirt. I was wearing a red shirt.
yeah, it was just trying to get on a set when I was like a kid. Like I was just fresh into the film industry. I'm like, oh man, there's this tryout. I wanted to be behind the camera, and I ended up like in a movie, just trying to just get on a set any way I could, and that was the movie I ended up on. So
Okay,
Wow,
Dunk, Dunk. And
beautiful.
I mean this, and I mean this with all love, brother. You need to go have a cup of coffee before I drive over and go Narcan you.
okay,
Okay, I'm seriously, I'm gonna
do I really
go
sound
hit
that
you with
bad?
some Narcan.
I really sound that bad?
Yeah,
Dude,
man.
you sound like you're on like the edge of like you're I'm gonna call 911 because you're clearly ODing right now.
Okay, well I'll go get some caffeine. And you guys continue the conversation.
Right. And don't and actually get caffeine.
Mate,
Don't go
if
shoot
you're
up
seeing
more.
right, if you're
Yeah.
seeing
Wha- Wait, there's a
it can't be.
difference?
Yeah, that's the well. Yeah, you can't be showing up to the tax man, fucking hanging out your ass. You've got to
I
Yeah,
be.
right.
That's just a
You
Google.
need.
That's just a like a Google Meet that I have to go to. I don't. I'm not even be wearing pants.
Yeah, but they're gonna
Okay,
fucking. Yeah,
okay.
but you're
All
not
right.
wearing
See,
pants now, and you
Jesus.
still
He's
sound,
not
mate. It doesn't matter.
Jesus.
It
It's
doesn't
true.
matter.
I am
He's
a
gonna
hundred
know.
What
percent
if there's a
not wearing
kid
any.
listening to the show, Dunk?
We have to
Fuck.
put an advisory at the beginning of the episode.
Oh my god.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
I'll go get some caffeine so I stop getting yelled at.
The first 10 minutes of the show is just Dunk just, on his heroin high.
Just crawling all over the floor.
Doesn't even realize he's like on the show, has zero clue that we're live.
Hey, and Owen, if you like Star Trek stuff, I
Oh
have
yeah,
like
man.
an entire like arsenal of stuff that I could share with you. Like I
Mate, well, that's what
like
this episode's now about. It's now a fucking Star Trek episode. Joe,
okay.
bad luck, pal. But thanks
Yeah.
for coming.
Hey,
It's
it's all
okay.
right.
You
No
can just take
problem.
it.
I'm here.
You can just you can have a
I'll be
seat,
listening.
relax, and
Yeah.
me and
I'll
Dunk are just
settle in.
gonna we're just gonna sit here and just shoot up and talk about Star Trek. It's gonna be
Yeah,
fucking
and
great.
Owen, I like I have more than one episode worth of Star Trek stuff that we can fill. So just so you know.
Oh my god. Okay. Okay. Okay.
So
Okay.
I when once you fall into somehow once you fall into that group of people, you just
Mhm.
like start it's like a group a network, and you just end up meeting a bunch of them and working with a bunch of them.
Oh
It's
my god.
crazy.
I need.
But
This is
but
fuck.
cool. Well, I'm gonna go get my caffeine so Joe
No, I
doesn't
don't
kill
know.
me.
yeah.
I don't know if I'm okay with that anymore. I'm too excited for this. I don't. I don't know if I can wait. Right. Okay. While he's getting his caffeine, I will explain the depths of my Star Trek depravity
I
to
want to.
Joe
Yeah, I
here.
want to hear it. I want to hear it. I'll say this much, okay? Because I am, again, I'm big, science guy and history guy. I
Mhm.
always liked Star Trek because it was more. There were like references in
Cerebral.
there that were like real
Mm.
like
Yes.
real physics. Like, well, one thing
Yeah. And
that I
culture.
always like remember again,
Mhm.
and I haven't seen a lot of episodes and stuff, but or movies even, but
Oh.
I just remember one where Captain Kirk is like, load up the tricobalt bomb or the tricobalt nuclear bomb, and I was like, ah, and again, like only like a real physics geek would have caught that, but like
Mhm.
the most powerful nuclear bomb you could ever have would be a cobalt bomb. It just like the structure of the atom, it would give the best nuclear yield.
Oh
So just like
wow, dude.
so like and little things like that, just for me, just my geekiness, I'm like that really scratched my itch. Like okay, okay. versus other sci-fi stuff where they just kind of making stuff up. And
Oh, that's the
so they
thing.
actually like kind of kept to real, physics and stuff. I liked that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that is one of the great things I love about it. See, when I was a kid, everybody else was into Star Wars, but I really struggled with Star Wars because for me it was a bit too voodoo. It was too, hand wavy and all this. There was no Star Trek though, because you would have thought, oh, Star Wars would be right up my street because it's all lasers and spaceships and shit. But it was just far too woo woo voodoo stuff. Whereas
Yeah,
Star
yeah.
Trek was grounded in science and scientific theory.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
they consulted with physicists and they did their best to really try and extrapolate and have kind of a universe, a consistent universe and stuff that actually made some sense. And it's interesting as well because obviously as time's gone on and we've evolved our understanding of the universe, some things are starting to get less sensible kind of thing as we've found. Oh, actually, that wasn't a limitation in the end or whatever. But that doesn't matter. But the point is, it was just something you could truly project yourself into, and it was a future that I really loved because for me it gave such a lot of hope that we were going to get something better, that we were
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
go
Yeah,
through
yeah.
hard times, but it
Sure.
was worth it, that
Yeah.
kind of. And it wasn't necessarily a utopia per se. We found new
Oh, not at all.
challenges,
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
but it was just absolutely fantastic. And the idea of intellectual pursuit, and
Yeah.
excellence, and the thing is as well, the team. It was the ultimate workplace because the team of people, they were the best team you could ever hope to work for in or work with in the future in
Well,
a
I mean,
job,
that's how you know it's like not an actual accurate depiction of the future, because like in the
Yeah.
future it's going to be all DEI, like Captain Kirk will, like actually be stupid, and like no one in there's going to be
Yeah.
like qualified for the job,
Oh,
just be a
totally.
bunch of
Well,
like
that's what
DEI
happened.
hires.
Well, it
But
evolved into that in the 2009 reboot. That was the sad thing.
oh, did it?
When
Okay,
yeah,
did it?
it really did. It became more. It's now modern Star Trek has shifted toward more of a kind of an action movie type of thing. It's really sad,
So
but
it's
this
turned
the
into Star Wars.
a little,
Gotcha.
well, not
Yeah.
quite as bad, but it's certainly become more action flick, and they've still got the scientific kind of stuff, but it's less so in Star Trek originally. People like Spock and so on were incredibly intellectual, and they
Yeah,
pursued a
no, I
lifetime
remember
of
exactly. I
intellect, right?
remember that.
Right,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah, yeah.
still true. But the thing about in the 2009 reboot, Kirk was accelerated through all of the usual years of training and years of grinding, improving yourself, kind of going from being like a nothing to being the captain of the fucking flagship of Starfleet within a ridiculously compressed time frame because of I don't fucking know, because he was cool and awesome and just gifted and talented and everywhere you went, fuck yeah, woo, and your old man was a legend, so why not? Fuck it. And it's just like, no, no, for piss sake, no, because he's an
Right, right.
icon, so everybody expects it. And they just were like, yeah, hell yeah, look, he's such a badass that now he's just the absolute boss, and everybody has to then respect and follow his. It's all a bit forced and a bit rushed in the reboot, which is a bit of a
I
shame,
see.
really.
Well, let
Um,
me ask you this. Let me ask you this while Dunk's chopping up his last oxycontin. Let me
I'm
let me
just
ask
steeping
you
my
this.
tea. I'm just steeping my
Oh
tea.
my God, listen to your voice, bro. It is not getting any better. It is not better, Dunk. Um, yeah, bro. Um, so let me ask you this. What was so were you really just like into physics or chemistry? Like what was your thing? I like what
Yeah, I
kind
would
of drew
say,
you into that?
well, so as I say, a lot of it was I mean, I just the physics of it was really what captivated me in terms of science and the people, the intelligentsia of it all, the fact that, smart didn't mean geeky and in the corner. Smart meant,
Yeah.
leading and being respected, and also was something where you didn't just nerd out. You also pursued physical, things. You were sportsmanlike and everything else, and you had this adventure going on. But it was the sci-fi, it was the science, the physics side of it more than anything else. Yeah.
But I mean, you just like you as a human, not
Mm.
even just getting into Star Trek and stuff. Like, were you really drawn into that world, or
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, so for me, I've always been into science. I was never particularly strong in biology or chemistry, but physics was something I was pretty much. Yeah,
Yeah,
loved all
biology
that.
is for small brain people anyway. Biology is the DEI of science.
Okay.
Um,
Boom.
yeah, that's when you're not really that smart. You go like, be a
Wow.
biologist.
Wow.
Um, Sorry if anyone did biology in here. Sorry about that.
Well, the thing about
Um,
physics was it's the baseline for all things. Biology runs
right,
on top of
right.
physics. Chemistry runs on top
Yeah.
of physics, if you like. So
Well,
physics
yeah,
felt like the fundamental truth, if you like, of all
definitely.
things. You
Yeah.
know.
Everything's really built on physics and chemistry.
Hmm.
Um, and so, my one thing, I've only really shared this like once, but my grandfather was actually won a Nobel Prize in chemistry. He's
Nice.
the person that made plutonium, actually. So he
Whoa.
ended World War II. I built houses. Yeah, his name's Glenn Seaborg. He made plutonium. So all the elements basically after 1 through 92 occur naturally in the universe. Neptunium was created by his partner Macmillan, a guy like one of his like lab assistants. So that's 93 Neptunium, and then 94 plutonium up to 104 he made. And
Wow.
got an element named after him. 106 is called Seaborgium, which is named after my grandfather. It's pretty cool, man. Pretty cool
Wow.
that that's like in my blood. And it always is. It just fascinates me that that's that's what he was into. And I I always say, had you spoke to me as a young man, I always say, oh, I'm going to be a history professor or a physics professor. So that was my whole plan in life, was like, oh, I'm just going to spend my life in academia. And I just find it so fascinating that I had those same interests. It's like, is it genetic? How is that passed down somehow? Like, why do we all share that interest? I just find that so fascinating. And again, like, I normally don't like to like share that, because I've always hated it when people are like, well, my dad's a lawyer, so I know the law. And it's like, yeah, you know what I mean? he
Yes.
he did that. I didn't do that. I have nothing to, that doesn't make me special at all. It makes him very special, though. But it just fascinates me that, you know that interest is somehow passed down. You inherit it somehow. It really blows my mind.
Absolutely. Well, I've got a similar kind of history actually. I've got yeah, there were some doctors and so forth, and actually I've got a bit of a claim to fame with one of my great grandmothers, great great grandmother, and I was first. I believe I have to fact check. My mum knows all these details. She carries them around in her head. I believe she was the first Irish lady to receive a degree.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah.
Like
So
very
yes,
first woman to get a degree.
I believe so. I believe so. Yes, I'm just having to double check that
Oh,
because I don't want
shit.
to just something crazy like that. And I did have a seriously uh seriously clever Steinberger in my history. And he was something special too. I've just chucked her a message because it seems suddenly quite relevant to the conversation. I
Right,
can
right.
never retain all this stuff. My sister and my mother are both history buffs. My sister is actually a archaeologist.
Oh, no
So
way.
yeah,
No
dude.
way.
Yeah, dude. And
How cool.
she basically ran or runs. She ran because she might have just recently left. Um, the archaeology kind of the National Trust for Wales for archaeology and all that kind of stuff. She's super fucking high up in all that.
Wow.
She's amazing. Yeah, she was been
That's
on.
awesome.
We have a BBC series called Time Team.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
she's been on that.
I've watched Time Team.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, she's
yeah,
been on that quite
yeah.
a lot. And
Of course I do. Come on, dude. I'm a history. Yeah, come
well,
on.
there
Yeah,
you go. You may well have seen
yeah.
her then, because she's been on that a bit, and she's often quoted in newspapers and so on if there's anything ever being done, because
Oh,
she.
man, I don't want to talk about the things I do to history shows, but they do sometimes involve bottles of lotion. So I'm
Oh,
sorry
there we
about
are.
that.
There we
I'm
are.
really sorry,
Well,
Owen, if
hey
your
man, things are just
sister.
getting weird now.
Yeah, sorry about that. Well, it's,
That's
I like
fine, mate.
history. Okay.
She's yeah. Well, she's a pretty lady, as well. So it's there. It
Oh
is. She looks
shit.
like Gillian
Oh my
Anderson,
God.
from the X Files.
Oh
Scully.
no.
She at one
Oh
point
no.
was
I am so
essentially the
sorry, Owen.
clone. She was Gillian
Every
Anderson's
90s kid's
clone.
crush.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. My sister at one point basically was a clone of Scully. Yeah,
Oh
and
no.
an
Okay. I'm
archaeologist.
sorry. Yeah. Oops. Okay. Well,
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Yeah, yeah.
we can
Oh well.
change the subject. All right, Dunk. How was that last little hit of heroin, buddy? How you doing?
It's good.
How you doing, bud?
Mm.
You awake?
Oh yeah, I was
Okay.
awake. I don't know. I thought that my voice sounded really buttery, but I was called out on it.
You still sound like you're half asleep, but
It's
it's all
getting
right.
better. It's getting better.
I'm awake. Apparently, I sound like I'm asleep, but I've been awake for a while.
This is much better.
I'm
This
sure
is
you have.
improving. This is improving.
Yeah,
It's got one arm. One arm's got the heroin slowly seeping, and the other arm's got some
yeah, right.
caffeine going in now. So I think we're starting to get
But
some
I
equilibrium. This is good.
I was just trying to impress Owen, so I steeped some tea.
Oh, very
Ah,
nice. Very nice.
Yeah,
Oh, that's a very good point. It is tea o'clock. It's 4:15.
yeah.
tea
So
I'm
o'clock.
actually 15
Having your
minutes late.
11s.
Well, 11 is at 4 o'clock. Yeah, but that's okay. 4 o'clock's a reasonable time to have a cup of tea.
Well, whatever. Yeah, you
Um,
call it your
yeah, I
verses.
mean,
Yeah.
it's all good. 4 o'clock's kind of about it. Well, people have tea all day long, really, but whatever. 4 o'clock always feels like a
Yeah.
nice
It's,
one because
I
you kind
drink
of
I
got
drink
four
coffee all day.
o'clock.
I drink coffee all day.
I
I
tend to
don't have
try and
any
sleep
coffee
about
here. It's
lunchtime.
it's kind of a scary situation, so I had to go to tea.
I need to know. So
Wait,
listen,
are
Star Trek.
you?
Tell me more because this
Yeah, you
needs to
guys
be.
get back to that.
I have to be. This is too cool for me, man. Like honestly, I would say this is the thing. This is the thing. So just to give you an idea then about my Star Trek kind of thing is that ever since I was a child, I used to watch Star Trek all the time. It used to kind of come on and I had no idea what it was. I used to watch Lost in Space and I used to watch random whatever it was. And I never quite knew what was what because I was like 5. But it was always fascinating to watch stuff about space and whatnot. And I used to think that Star Trek people were lost and trying to get home, which 10 years later was true when they created Voyager. So that was interesting. But in the end, I remember when I was a child, when I was very young, I must have been 1989, 1990 area, just after The Next Generation had come out. And I knew that Star Trek was a thing
That's the one I. That's the one that I
because
That came out
watched.
in
Was Next
Picard and
'87.
Data,
Generation.
The Next
right?
Yeah.
Generation came out in '87.
Okay, so I was born in '82, and I think what happened is I remember my gran took me down to the video shop, and to the video rental shop, and I knew I wanted Star Trek because I knew about Star Trek by that point. I knew the name, and we brought it home, and I put it on, and it was very confusing because there was this weird, like pasty white yellow man that was turned out to be Data, and I didn't recognize him. I didn't recognize the captain as being bold. I thought this is all wrong. Where's Spock with the ears? Where's the people I know? But I watched it anyway, and I watched it. It was the Encounter at Farpoint. Anyway, that was my kind of that was when I first. But from then on, Star Trek has been a thing that I fucking loved. I watched it. I would almost say religiously, and it did form a part of my education. My not just my education in terms of because I was literally learning science, and I was captivated by things and the stuff you'd hear. You'd then feed into actual science lessons. I would understand terms and things I'd heard, but also my kind of morality, if you like. It was a guiding force for me in terms of how you treat other people, and having and a pursuit of intellectual things and wanting to learn more and wanting to be accepting of differences and all this kind of stuff. So I was woke before woke was a thing, sadly. But whatever. We all live and learn.
Oh, that is so not woke. That's so different. That's
Indeed,
being
right.
classical
Sure.
liberal. Yeah.
So then,
Yeah.
but then what happened is, all the new Star Treks came out, all the extra ones started to spin off because I remember I really wanted another Next Generation. But I remember talking to a
You're
guy,
talking
obviously it
about
was
the CBS All Access Paramount Plus generation,
well,
the
I don't,
streaming generation of Star Trek. That's kind of
well,
different.
well, it's all very different now. So, I mean, I say Well, when I was a kid, again, I wanted the Next Generation to have more stuff, and I remember we had a plumber round one day doing some stuff at the house, and again, I was still a literal child, and I said, and I was this guy like Star Trek somehow. I don't know how we got talking about it, and I said to him, "Do you reckon they'll do more Star Trek again? Because like I want even more." He says, "Well, it took them 30 years to do this one, so it might be another 30 years," and I was really gutted. But luckily, they started to broaden their horizons a bit, and they started to create more, didn't they? So they created Deep Space Nine and Voyager, and that I fell in love with all that. So I watched it all the time. That was when the internet started to happen, and I could download episodes of it off of like boards and whatever. So I was watching it in England the same week that the US had it. So I was watching it like 6 months before anybody in England could
Were
ever
those
see
the
it.
same people, by the way? The
No, no,
Voyager
different
and
different
Deep.
folks.
Okay,
This was
Different
great. You see,
cast.
completely different cast
okay,
with a different
okay.
baseline for the story. Anyway, so I did all that,
See,
loved it.
I only really watched the original, original Star
Yeah.
Trek. Um, with what's his name?
Patrick
Well, William
Stewart.
Shatner. Well, which what the original
What's his
original
name?
would
Original is
be
with William Shatner.
Shatner.
Shatner and Leonard
Shatner. Yeah,
Nimoy.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Nimoy and Shatner, and so
Okay.
like I've seen that, but then like the one that I really really relate to is the that one that started in
The Next
Next
Generation.
Generation.
Yeah, with
Yeah,
Patrick
yeah,
Stewart. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Patrick Stewart, and yeah, that's the one that like I really like, even more so
More
than
so for me.
Leonard
Absolutely for
Nimoy
me.
and
I would
stuff.
say
Yeah,
that was the
yeah.
same for me as well because the '60s ones were a little bit too old-fashioned. Whereas the Next
A
You
little
Generation
should
too old
watch the
fashioned.
felt.
Yeah,
remastered ones where they
yeah.
redo all the special effects and they
Oh yeah, no, that's cool.
so
I've
it
done all that.
it
Yeah,
holds
I've
up a
seen
little
all
bit more
those.
modern.
It
Yeah.
does. It does. Yeah. But I know, hey, that's
It
amazing.
definitely does, but I still just like,
It's still a
you
bit too
know,
papier-mâché
Sir,
sets and a bit too.
Sir Patrick is still my Captain
You,
Kirk. You know
you
what I
mean your
mean?
Totally.
Just
idea of a
like,
Gorn isn't
yeah,
some guy in a leather lizard suit?
yeah, correct,
Right,
correct.
right. I
Yes,
mean, that's the thing. It
yes.
was a little too. But this is the thing. But TNG felt like it was my generation because, and it was. It was quite literally my generation. So it felt like the
Voyager
Yeah,
was
Star
yeah,
Trek
mine.
that I always
totally.
I'm a
wanted to
few
be.
years younger than you. Voyager was my generation.
Okay, fine, fine. So, but I
Yeah,
fell in
but
love
I
with
was just
Voyager.
I was just a few years
Absolutely.
behind you, so in
Okay.
age. So
Well,
Okay.
and see, here's the thing, Dunk. See, I had an older brother that is Owen's age, so like it's just
it
weird,
just
when you have
depends
an
on when
older
you're born.
sibling like that.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah,
mm,
but then you get brought into all that stuff though when you have the older siblings. So like
right.
It's
like I
playing,
always,
but just depends on what you join into, like what your generation's show
I
is.
really
Every
relate
generation has a
to people who
Yeah.
show.
are like born in 1980,
Well,
1982. You know,
exactly. That's
um,
it. Same. Yeah. This is
yeah.
me. So TNG was
And
the
I
one.
was
So I
born
get
in
why.
'87, so
That's
Next
why
Generation started the
1997.
year I was born.
Oh, yes, it did, and that's all right. And then didn't Voyager
So
start in 96?
Voyager started.
95?
Voyager started after the
97?
year
Shit.
after Next Generation ended, and
Oh, okay, so like 97.
Deep Space Nine. Actually, no. So it was 2 years after Next Generation ended because
Yeah,
So what
uh,
year would that be? What year would that be?
so
97.
'87.
So it
Yeah, yeah,
didn't feel like Voyager started in
not '97.
1997, wasn't it?
It's '94, I think.
'94.
No, yeah, I think it
Oh,
was
I'm sorry. No, no, I'm sorry. So you know
'94,
what? I'm embarrassed, but yeah, Voyager ran from 95 to 2001.
'95,
Yeah.
'95.
Okay,
Okay. Okay.
okay.
Cool. Cool.
Because
Cool.
there was a year. Deep Space Nine overlapped 3 years of Deep Space Nine, Next Generation, and 3 years of Voyager.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
They
Okay.
aired at the same time.
I never
Okay,
quite got into DS9, not in the same way as I did Voyager.
very
Voyager
different
and
show.
TNG, very different show, yeah. But here's the thing. But now I can't get into it. But I'll leave that for a minute but back then I knew every single actor's name. I knew, and I mean because okay, so the original series for me was very much a thing because I loved the movies, and the movies were spectacular. And I have seen every single one of the movies. The movies were so much better than the original series that I kind of class it as the same level of kind of immersive science, immersive
I've
special
only seen a
effects and so
couple of
on.
the
Even with the
movies.
bald lady.
I've only seen a couple. Nemesis. I saw
Ilea.
Nemesis.
Nemesis. Oh, right. Okay, that's very late. That's very, very
That was a
late.
very late one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, because I'm
That's the
talking
last one
about the
with Patrick
original.
Stewart
It
in it.
is. Yeah. Exactly.
that was the last one that he was in.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it wasn't a
yeah. I
particularly good
remember.
fucking movie, really.
I actually didn't like it.
No,
I
I
it's
didn't
quite
like it.
shit.
rewatched it, and it held up better than my memory of it.
Yeah. I think that's probably fair. But the one I can't watch is ever again is the what was the one with the briar patch and all that bullshit and the people with the
Insurrection.
de-aging
Oh
insurrection.
yeah,
Fuck's sake.
that was also a
Fuck's
bad one.
sake. Star
Yeah,
Trek's
yeah.
finished at First Contact. As far as I'm concerned, TNG era Trek finished with First Contact, and that was
There's one
amazing.
more thing that you Picard season 3. It is
Oh,
basically
dude, what a love letter!
oh,
Fuck,
jeez,
my
man,
god,
that's like after 30 years, you go like, wow, you made this.
dude.
What happened to season 1 and 2? Okay,
I
I'm not going to
know.
complain about that. I'm just going to go like, let you gave us season 3, and this is all
Wait,
that
hold
really
on. What am
Exactly,
I
matters.
missing here? What
exactly.
am I missing here?
So they
So
Is this
started.
this must
go
be
ahead.
something newer?
It is,
It is.
mate.
It's very
Very,
Oh,
new.
okay,
very,
okay, okay.
very new. Literally finished a couple of years ago, a
So
year ago.
they made a season just called Picard.
No, there was a
Yes,
new show called Picard, which was
yes,
Okay,
just following Patrick Stewart's character
sure,
alone,
sure,
and
sure.
not following like Enterprise.
yeah,
Which
and
and
Okay,
they
they'd have like other
I haven't
like
even
guest
seen a single
appearances
one of these.
from
Yeah.
different people from different Star Trek shows came
yeah,
in that
yeah,
weren't necessarily in Next Generation, and they
mhm.
would come into that show. And but the first two seasons were kind of like trying to be fresh, original. Like one was a time travel season, and then
Okay.
season 3 was like, oh, let's just create the love letter to Next Generation that everybody wanted from the
Fuck
beginning.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because they actually explicitly set out not to originally. Picard
Yeah,
said, "No, Star Trek's done."
I'll watch that. I'll
Yeah,
watch that.
okay.
So what is that on? What is that on?
it's on Paramount
Amazon,
Plus.
Paramount
Paramount.
Plus.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Okay.
you could buy them on any of those ones, but like if
Sure,
you wanted
sure. Yeah.
included in
I'll
subscription,
check it
it's
out.
Paramount
Yeah.
I'll
Plus.
check it out.
It's a sad thing because I think Patrick Stewart said I don't want to do. He's not going to be Star Trek. I don't want to do that. This is something else. But by the third
Just
season,
follow the character.
he gave up and said, "Fuck it. All right, let's go full
You
Trek."
know what I'm thinking now, Owen? You know what?
What?
You know how I'm always like talking about how, oh, your guys' voice just does something to me.
Mm.
It's because of that motherfucker. It's because of me
Yeah.
growing
You
up.
know, he was a nobody
No,
when that
no,
show
no,
started.
really though. No,
Like
Mhm,
that's
nobody.
why.
mhm.
That's why it's such like a voice of authority to
Yes.
me when I hear that accent.
Wonderful.
You know,
Yes.
it is. It is.
Yeah.
I just finally connected that dot.
There you
Yeah,
go. And he's not
because
even
you
truly
know.
British. He's got what they call a mid-Atlantic accent.
Uh, really, I didn't
Yeah.
realize that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
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 Wow. Okay.
Indeed. No, that's
And what were you
amazing.
saying, Dunk? He was just like a nobody. This guy
Oh
wasn't even
yeah,
an
yeah.
actor.
Oh, he
They
was an
were very.
actor.
He was just a Shakespearean actor in
Yes,
England,
that's correct.
nobody over here knew who he was. He
No.
was a no name in America.
Yeah.
Not a single person, and that was the show that made Patrick Stewart a household name.
Right. And
Well, that makes
And
sense.
he
Sure,
was
and
so good. He was better than any
he's
of he was
perfect.
far too
Oh,
and he
he's
good
was.
for it.
perfect.
And you
Yeah.
know what? You know the funny thing. Geordie's character.
Mhm.
One of my friends tried out for Geordie's character,
Fuck
and
off.
he didn't get it, obviously.
No, sure.
Um,
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
but then he ended up getting a role in Voyager instead. So,
Oh,
but
that's cool.
but like I mean, like, hey, I think it worked out because I like both of their characters. He's the guy that plays
Dude.
Tuvok.
Shut the front door.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's your buddy?
yeah.
Huh. Oh, no shit. Okay, that's
You're
cool.
fucking friends with Tim Russ.
Yeah.
I now have a podcast with a guy that's friends with Tim Russ.
You can come
Dude,
over
see,
here. You can come hang out with him.
this
Come
is the
on.
I'm
thing,
booking my
Owen.
fucking flight. I'm booking
You
my fucking flight.
you don't realize it, Owen. See, when you live in
It's a
LA,
small
these
world, man.
people are just it's so
They're just
small.
people.
Yeah.
They're just people. Like I go
Yeah.
and
Dude.
he plays at like he
Dude.
I've known him for like 20 plus years now, but he plays at this
Fuck's
place called
sake.
the Kibitz Room at Cantor's once
Okay.
a month.
Okay.
Dude,
So I
which
so
by
even
the
if
way,
it's a
hold on a
great place
second.
to go to.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
You could have gotten history of Kibitz Room.
Hold on. Cantors is the best fucking thing
It
on the
is.
planet, by
It
the way.
is.
Okay. So let's just hold on and let's just talk about that pastrami real quick.
I've been to Cantor's.
Because
I've had it.
it,
Uh-huh.
I've had the pastrami in Cantor's. I've done that. I've been there and had one.
it
Oh yeah,
it's the best thing. Oh, you have.
I
you've
So
been to
have.
Owen,
I've
you
Cantor's.
physically
even
been
know.
there. I've been to
Okay, so
Cantor's. I
you
had it.
even know. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
You
It's
know
I
they
was
the
have
given a
just
full
best.
a
tour.
kitchen, a Cantor's kitchen in downtown LA. No actual restaurant, but like a
Yeah,
satellite
yeah. I
kitchen.
go there. Yeah, yeah,
You
I
just go
go
to
there.
the satellite kitchen. You
Yeah.
don't go to the
Yeah,
one
yeah.
in Fairfax. Okay,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the one I go to.
but
I like to go
there's
to
no dining area there, right?
No, well, it's a small, very small dining area. Very,
Yeah,
very small.
but it's mainly just the kitchen.
But it's pretty much just a kitchen but I like to go there because it's right across from the park and
Hmm.
it's also in that part of downtown where like they sell all the papers. So
Oh
like
yeah, yeah.
So like everyone will like come up to me and they're like, it's like, hey, amigo, you need ID? It's like, no, I don't fucking need an ID. I'm trying to go get a pastrami, please. Thank you.
You look like the kind of person that needs a fake ID, just saying.
Well,
He
I may or may not have
probably
had a
checked the
couple.
internet and seen like all of your ID collection.
Right, right. They've seen my little collection. Yeah, no,
Oh
it's
god.
amazing. And they're just like so like blasé about it. It's just like, hey, you need papers? No, I don't need papers, sir. Thank you. I'm trying to
What
get a
the
pastrami.
actual fuck?
Yeah, like,
Well, I mean, let's not forget. Sorry, I just want to say as well. One thing we forgot to mention, which I also loved, and it's a bit. This is a bit more divisive. Is I was a big fan of Enterprise with Scott Bakula.
I
okay.
was too. I was more a fan of the story arc seasons than
I,
Oh, sure,
the
definitely.
monster of the
th-
week episodes. But yeah.
this is when I'm sort of getting like out. You know, this is
Just push Joe out of the conversation.
this is where I'm sort of
It's
off
gone
the bus.
too nerdy.
Yeah, yeah. This is where I've now left.
Oh well, you see, the thing is, here's okay. Here's what you'll enjoy then. Here's a connection to kind of bring you back a little tiny olive branch. There's an actor in it called John Billingsley who plays Dr. Phlox, and John
He's
Billingsley is
so
in.
great.
He's fucking awesome, but he's in one of my favorite movies of all time, which is a history buff might well find to be very very fun. It's a very simple film set in a single room with a group of people having a discussion, but it's one of the most captivating stories I've ever seen, and it's called The Man from Earth,
Okay,
and
Man from Earth. Okay.
yeah, and you need to.
Look, I used to love all that. This like, that I was definitely a different type of person then, but that whole like, very, like Samuel Beckett, Waiting for Godot, very,
Yeah.
very plain, kind of nihilistic and like existential type, like just
Yeah,
dark kind of, just again, the whole thing takes place in a room type deal. Yeah, I used to
mhm.
really eat that shit up, so I'm sure I would like that.
Yeah, get it, make it
Yeah.
happen, dude. Honestly, it's so simple. It's a science fiction drama. It's
It's
just
called
so
Man
the
Man
the
from
the
Man
the
from Earth.
man the man from Earth. Yeah.
The Man from Earth. Okay,
Yeah, it's
I'll check that
really
out.
it's so good. It's about somebody who has purportedly been alive for a very very long time.
Okay, okay.
It's
Speaking of
fascinating.
which, did you ever? I'm sure you've probably read or watched Waiting for Godot. Um, Dunk, have you seen that or read it? Waiting for Godot.
I've heard of it. I haven't read it though.
It is really really famous. I know it like was, I think in the 40s or 50s. It was
50s,
probably,
yeah.
yeah, probably like the best play. Yeah, it's probably like the most acclaimed play. Um,
Samuel
that,
Beckett.
yeah, I mean anything he put out is great, really
Okay,
good. Totally dark, totally grim. Again, very.
wonderful.
You don't leave feeling good.
Hmm.
You leave, but
Oh, that's
but it
good.
but it's like you're gonna leave like shook to your core.
Wow.
So again, it's almost, it's like Albert Camus or something. You know what I mean? It's like that level of um, there's a depth there's a great depth to it. So
Yeah, wonderful.
yeah, like I said, check if you. It's a short read too. It's probably only like 120 pages. Um, but yeah, I love it again, and again, I know it was like one of the biggest, probably like the biggest play in Paris for you know. People keep calling me, damn it. Um,
I was going to say
but
you
yeah,
disappeared for a
that's
second there.
that's that's one worth, yeah, worth checking out.
Tragedy comedy is what they call that, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, since you
Or
have to, since you,
black comedy.
yeah, black comedy. I mean, because you have to label it, I guess.
Hmm.
Beckett would be the type of person that would say, um, "I hate labels."
Okay.
He would actually reject that it even had a label. He's like that kind of person, but It'll be up your guys' alley. You guys would like
Okay.
it.
See
Yeah.
what? I will, because I haven't seen or read this. I don't think I may have done. It's one of those things I've seen and read a lot of stuff, and I can never remember the name of anything. And when I'll catch something, sometimes I'll be like, "Oh yes, God, fuck, I've seen this. Wow, now I know what it's called. Amazing." This
Yeah,
had an influence on me.
if you're like suicidal, definitely
Mm,
don't watch it or read it
right.
because
Yeah.
it's like it will push you over the edge.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so make sure you're in a healthy mental state type
I
thing.
might leave it a few
You know,
weeks.
yeah.
I'm not having the best time at the moment. So yeah, let's
Right.
leave that one for a little while. But
Yeah,
I mean,
sure, sure.
I thoroughly recommend. If I was going to say I've watched that, if you watch the rather more uplifting, wow, yeah, I'd say so. So not necessarily uplifting, but yeah, you should definitely watch Man from Earth.
Oh, I
Um,
will. I
but
definitely
just, but
will.
just, but just, but just looping back to Tim Russ and Star Trek and so on, because this is the thing. I mean, I say movies were amazing, and I would watch the movies religiously as such. They would come out, and I would go and watch them, and at the cinema. I was thrilled to be able to do that. I remember Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country, when that came out. I was 14 years old in 1996. And it was all very exciting. And then anyway, so kept doing all that until it all finished. But I've always watched them on repeat. In fact, to this very day, there's a good
Number
chance in any
six.
given week. Yeah, in any guy, there's like 14 or 15 fucking Star Trek movies now.
I was gonna
Um,
say, yeah, they got to be pushing 20. Yeah,
oh, it's
right.
crazy.
You mean how
But
many Star Trek movies there are?
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I think
There's
it's
13.
there's 13.
13.
So right, okay, fine.
Because
Um,
that was always the thing. Like people would always call the 2009 movie was
mhm,
11, but people would
right.
call it one. And I
Yeah.
tell them they're stupid because it didn't. It just is a prequel that takes place in an alternate timeline. Dummies. It's
Oh,
not a
right. Yes,
complete
exactly. The
reboot.
whole
What?
Kelvin universe thing is an
God.
absolute twat, though. I don't like the Kelvin universe at all
Well,
myself.
it was a way to do a reboot without disrespecting the long term fans and just completely
Yeah.
erasing it. It would and I get it, and I
It's
like
fucking thinly veiled, though,
there's
isn't it?
no way to please everybody is the problem. Like and
No. But how bad was the one they did when they fucking did the new version of
con.
Khan? Yeah, man,
Well,
for
the
fuck's
thing was that the
sake.
original what's his face was the original casting for that what no country for old men. Why am I brain for um
Oh
Cohen
shit.
brothers. Cohen brothers.
no the actor why am I brain farting his name Bond villain.
Bardem.
Yeah, yeah. He
Yeah,
was originally supposed to play Khan, which
yeah. Javier
again,
Bardem.
Oh, that would have made
still not
sense.
the right race for Khan if you're going to actually try and match it up. But you went from this guy that's supposed to be a Native American character to a British white guy, and you're
No,
like,
he's
this is the same.
Spanish. He's
This is
Spanish.
the same. This is the same. No, but no, they ended up casting Benedict Cumberbatch. So
Yeah,
you
Oh,
went
man.
from
What
a
the
Native
fucking
okay.
American
fuck?
guy to Benedict Cumberbatch, and it's like I think that Benedict Cumberbatch did a good job in the character that he played, but that
Yes.
wasn't Khan. That wasn't Khan.
No,
That's the thing. It's
not
like you
at
created a
all.
completely original character and
Mm,
slapped a legacy, one of the most popular
dude,
villains
yeah.
in probably movie history, one of the most popular movie villains in movie history.
Definitely in top
Yeah,
five.
the Wrath of
Definitely in
Like
top
Khan
five.
is one
Yeah.
of the
in not just
ultimate.
Star
Yeah,
Trek history, movie history.
yeah,
Right.
man.
Right.
Yep,
Like
yep,
movie history, the top
yep.
villains in movie history,
Yes,
and you
sir.
just like lazily recreate him like that, and you're like, nobody will care.
Now, it
Honestly,
does
unreal.
bug me. It does bug me too. I hate how they do. It's just like how they made like Cleopatra like a black chick. It's like,
Oh,
what are you
dude,
guys doing? Like,
what's
what are you
happening?
doing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
makes no
What's
fucking
going on
sense.
here? Yeah.
Doesn't even make any historical, biological, anything else sense.
She's a fucking Greek Ptolemy for God's sake. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
come on now. Come on.
Yeah,
Benedict
man.
Cumberbatch is a fucking Native American. I
It's
love it.
hilarious.
Love it.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah,
Benedict
the
Cumberbatch is
logic
an
just didn't
amazing
make
actor.
sense.
Oh
He's an
no,
amazing
but no, I'm
actor.
not
That,
hating.
that
No, he's a
No,
great
he's
actor.
a,
I'm
but
not hating
and it's
on him at
so
all.
unfair. It's so
Yeah,
unfair that he had to
he's
do
actually he's a
that,
brilliant
essentially.
actor. Yeah,
Yeah. Have you
please. I
seen?
not.
Who
and
have you
that's kind of my
seen?
point. It's like it was fine that he played a role, but by making it that character, it diminished both versions of the character.
Right. Yes. Yes, it did, didn't it?
Hmm.
Yes, it fucking
Again, it's
did.
like
Well said.
like
Yeah.
Netflix will do like a movie in the future about like Michael Jordan, and it'll be played by like Daniel Day Lewis or something. It's like like you just kind of like
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
I mean, come on, you can't.
Yeah, it's
Daniel Day Lewis
fucking.
could play anything, you know that.
Yeah, actually, Daniel Day Lewis might pull it off. Actually, no, let me pick someone else because yeah, he probably would pull it off. Yeah,
Mhm.
Fucking
No,
psycho.
I try to. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is the thing. I will rewatch the Star Trek movies until I'm blue in the face, but I will not rewatch anything of the Kelvin universe. I won't rewatch anything other than the 2009 one, and even that I only do occasionally.
You spotted me and you didn't even realize it. That's why.
Yeah, that
Um,
means you've seen Dunk before,
You've
bro.
seen me.
Yeah, you've
that's
I
seen Dunk.
No,
Yeah.
Joe, you
absolutely
want to know
fucking
why
crazy.
there was like a casting call, and there was no joke. People found out it was Star Trek, and people came in their full like Klingon setup. Those people didn't get brought in.
They did. Right,
They did
right.
not get cast. You
Oh
don't show up for a
wow,
Star Trek
You don't
casting
show up.
dressed up
Yeah.
like you're at a
Come
Trek
on.
that's
convention.
it.
Yeah,
But they
You
would have
you
you
had
pull
don't
a
show
bit
up
of
like a
advice.
Comic Con, you
they
know.
had the
Yeah,
day of they had the day of
but
their fucking lives there. That would have been.
but like
They did though. That's
there
the
was
thing,
thousands
Owen.
of
Like
people that showed up for that.
these people, they come from all around the world,
The world.
and
They
they
flew in
will.
to
Yep,
try out.
yep, and
That's what
they'll
it
wait
is.
outside these studios, bro, just to like get their just to get the fucking lunch, you know, and they'll be an
Hmm.
extra. They don't even get paid, and they'll be there
Just so
16
they can
hours,
say
and
they're part
Just
of
so they
it.
can say
yeah,
they're part of it. Yeah,
and
fuck
but it's
yeah.
the day of their life, bro.
And
It's the day of their
also, I'm
life.
sorry, Simon fucking Pegg as Scotty. I mean, come on, what a douche. The guy is too well connected. He just wanted to be in Star Trek, so they
He
Right.
made him
also he wrote the
Scotty.
third one.
I'm sure he did. Good for
Oh, he
him.
wrote the third
He
one.
The
wrote
thing is,
the
I
Star
fucking
Trek
loved
Beyond.
Simon Pegg. I loved Simon Pegg. I thought it was brilliant. He was such a clever guy that created like Shaun of the Dead,
Hot
and
Yeah,
Fuzz.
yeah,
Hot Fuzz. Oh, two
yeah, yeah,
fantastic
yeah.
movies. We won't talk about the other one, the third one.
Shaun of the Dead, and yeah, yeah. Come
Hot
on,
Fuzz are
yeah,
just fantastic. But that's kind of not. It wasn't just him though, right? It was his friend, whatever his fucking name is. I can never remember his mate's
yeah,
name. The
yeah,
other
yeah.
guy,
Who by the way, his friend Nick
Nick
Frost.
Nick Frost.
Um, and you
That's
know
it.
who
That's
he's
it. Yeah,
playing?
that's it.
He's playing like what Hagrid in the new Harry Potter reboot.
Is he fucking
Wait, is he
really?
really?
That's
Yeah, he's playing.
amazing.
Get the
Okay,
fuck
that's
The
out of
casting
here.
on that one is interesting. Like they got John Lithgow playing Dumbledore. Like,
What?
hmm
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I get, they can do all kinds of makeup and stuff. I
well,
don't
I
know.
could see the makeup fine. I'm just wondering about the accent. I've heard I've watched Cliff, was it Cliff Divers, where he tries to put on that British accent. That didn't go well.
Yeah. Lithgow's a really good actor, though, especially, back in the day, he was a really, really good actor.
He's got
So,
one of the most famous quotes in movie histoy from him too. Actually,
I
do you know what
love
his
John.
most famous quote is?
No, go on.
what?
Some of you may die, but
Oh,
that is a sacrifice that
yeah.
I am
I
willing to
willing
make.
to make. Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Fantastic. I do love him because the Third Rock from the Sun was a big part of my childhood.
So
I
good.
Oh
fucking
yeah.
loved it.
I loved that when I was younger. Yeah. I loved that too.
Syndicated on at 12:30 in the morning every day.
No
I
way. It's
really
so
liked
hard
that
to
too.
find it
But
over
even
here.
but even before that though, Owen, like, John Lithgow, he was a big actor in the 70s or
Hmm
80s, something like that.
Yeah, Harry and the Hendersons, man.
Wouldn't so let's
Oh
ask Dunk,
shit.
since Dunk is actually like our resident expert in this. 70s is the best decade of movies, right?
I'd say between the 70s and early 80s are like the
Right,
Yeah.
best.
right.
Like early eight, not late 80s. I'm
Well,
saying
you
like
can go
early,
mid 80s
and
because
then if
1986
we get
Aliens,
into
man.
then if we get into animation,
But
then we would
but just the
then we'd
best
say like
decade,
late 80s to 90s was
best
like the
decade though
renaissance
is
of
the
animation.
70s though,
Okay.
right?
Yeah,
Right? You
70s for live action, and like then it became like the
The
Well,
animation
and
era
also
of
animatronics era.
Hollywood.
Yeah, I get that.
you're away
Animatronics era.
from like you're away from like the studio
Hmm
type production, right? That era is
Yep.
kind of over, and you're getting into like live sets,
Yeah.
and but like you've got Godfather, you've got Deer Hunter, you've got
Yep.
what's that one? What's that fucking movie with the weird Southern kid? Get on the knees and pray. What's that? It's got John Voight in it. Come on, what's that fucking
Anytime.
movie? Come on. What?
Anytime.
God damn it. There were the four guys are going on the trip, and oh my God,
Deliverance.
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 Yeah,
Deliverance.
Deliverance. Yeah. I mean, there's just so Godfather. There's so many fucking
Part one and part
amazing.
two.
Yeah, part one
And
and
then there's
two.
that unsettling gap in between 2 and 3, and we don't talk about 3.
Yeah, we don't talk about three. Yeah, three never happened. Um, that just
Ugh.
yeah, that was in a
It does
parallel
have a famous
universe.
quote from it. That's the only good thing we got from
No,
3,
no,
by the
no,
way.
no, 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 Dunk. It never happened. Dunk. It never happened. That's
We'll
the heroine
associate that
talking again.
line with something else.
um,
But
yeah,
no,
you know. So,
animatronics
but okay.
was the big thing, wasn't it, of the second half of the 80s? That's why Aliens is so good and much
Well,
better
that's like
UK.
yeah, that's when you start getting all that shit though, right? Like
Sci-fi
Predator
horror.
and
Predator, yeah.
Alien and
Well, Aliens, because
yeah.
Alien was the 1970s one still, yeah.
Oh, it was
And Star Wars,
Alien was still in the 70s.
yeah, first Alien was
The
70s.
first one
The
was.
first Alien was, huh? Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
And don't forget the
Fuck, the
1980s.
70s really it's the best. It's the 70s is the best.
Empire Strikes Back, then, man. That came out in the 1980s, right? That was actually 1980, in
It
fact.
was
And that was the first
80.
animatronics
It
real
was
kind of.
77 was the original Star Trek. That triggered all the studios to start going like, "Oh no, we need something sci-fi." Disney did Black Hole, and
I don't think I ever even saw that.
not many did.
Okay.
That's the
Yeah.
thing. Um, they did the black to try and compete with Star Wars, and then Paramount dusted off like, "Oh, we have this Star Trek thing from the '60s. Oh, I wonder if we could do something with this." And
Well,
that led to
Right.
Star
yeah,
Trek:
but
The Motion Picture.
they were copying Star Wars because Star Wars was 77, Star Trek was
That's
79.
my
And
Yeah.
they,
that no, that's my point. Like Star Wars started, and that triggered the movie franchises to
right,
That's what started the
started
movies.
the whole
got it,
movement.
got it.
Star Wars came out in '77, and then that started the whole sci-fi
Yes.
shift that led into
When
the
was
'80s.
Dune? When did Dune when was that
The
shot?
well, that had a whole bunch of problems. That was shot because that what was the original Dune was canceled, and then they
Right.
made the
I've heard
first.
that story that there was all kinds of problems with
Oh,
it.
it was a
Like a
disaster.
disaster, like it lost money and everything,
Oh yeah,
right? Like
it
yeah,
was like one of the largest
one of the
financial
biggest.
disasters in
Yeah.
history.
Right, right.
Um, let's see, the
Like
original Dune,
people in LA are still traumatized over
84.
it.
The original Dune
84.
came out in
Okay.
84.
84. But it was supposed to be like
Way
before
earlier.
Star Wars though.
It's
So,
Jodorowsky's Dune. How do you say it?
yeah, yeah,
Jodorowsky's?
yeah, yeah,
I don't
yeah,
even know how to say it.
yeah.
I don't read things.
Roski. Yeah,
Roski.
yeah.
Yeah, it was his Dune, and that just fell
Nice.
apart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I still like I love it. I love it though. I
Yeah, super
fucking love it.
campy and
I never
cheesy,
really got
whatever.
into Tune, you know. Have you seen all the
Oh, dude, you
reboot
gotta
stuff?
watch
Have you
it.
seen
You
all the new
gotta watch
stuff?
it.
Yeah, did you
I've
see
seen
it?
I,
On Apple
I've seen the
TV or
new
whatever.
stuff. It was good, but I don't know, man. I really like the original.
A lot of people do, yeah.
You
There's a
like
whole
those
on this
visible
planet.
shield, right?
Oh yeah, the visible shields, yeah.
So
Really?
good.
There's a lot about it which is cool, and it's the quote's pretty cool. On this planet, you will die, or whatever. That whole thing
Right.
is pretty fucking cool, and spice and all that. But yeah, so just go back. Just to say what happened for me. I got so into the Star Trek thing, and I got so excited by an opportunity that happened. I actually got to meet every one of the captains. I actually got to meet Leonard Nimoy when he came to London, and then I got to meet. Which obviously I'm glad I did because I got to meet him before he died, which everybody that
Yeah,
did also did. And then
I got to do that in the 2009 movie. That was one of the best parts
oh
about doing that.
motherfucker,
Getting to
wow,
meet Leonard
holy
Nimoy.
shit,
Yeah.
dude. Okay, and then I got to meet all of the captains. But there was a Star Trek convention in London where Patrick Stewart and William Shatner and Scott Bakula and oh Christ, what was the name of the actor that played not Bashir, Christ, the Deep Space Nine chap.
I can never
uh,
remember his actual name.
Avery Brooks. Avery
Yeah.
Brooks. Got to
I
meet
was gonna
Avery
say
Brooks.
after like Shatner, Stewart, and Bakula. I'm like I don't
And
know anybody.
I
Like
met Brent Spiner, who played Data,
Hmm.
and one of my favourite ones was getting to meet Q. Fuck, what's his name? Um,
John.
John
What's his
Delancey.
name?
John
Delancey.
Delancey.
Yeah. Yeah.
John Delancey. Yeah, and he turns out he's got a son called Owen,
oh
which he enjoyed talking to me about. Because
So
actually,
did you have to like go? Did you have to go like relieve yourself in the bathroom after that?
honestly, mate, it was unreal. I had the time of my fucking life. I mean, I met Bill Shatner twice. I went round twice, but actually meeting Patrick Stewart as well. And the thing is, I broke some of the rules. I would talk to them, actually, rather than just showing up and then just getting the signature. I actually said stuff and gave them a little
Right.
message, and it was wonderful
Oh,
because
you're in
they took a
trouble.
moment to they took a moment to reply. I remember Patrick Stewart, I said to him, "It's a real honor." I think I said something like, "I just wanted to say it's an absolute honor to meet you, sir." And he said, "Oh, that's nice." And
I
then,
love it. I love it.
yeah,
Oh, that's nice.
yeah,
I can so actually see that.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
my
can so
mum,
see that.
see, my mum, when she was a little girl, used to watch Star Trek, the original series, and she absolutely was literally in love with Kirk. Her heart would flutter every single week. And I told her I was at this convention, I was going to meet him, and she
She's
said,
like, get his
please,
number for me.
yeah, she said, um please tell him I've always loved him or whatever. And I did. And he said, she said this, I just wanted to let you know that my mum was a little girl, she used to absolutely love you, and she, everything else. And he said, you tell her thank you.
Yep, that's awesome.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah,
You tell her. Thank you.
and it was. I remember literally, I was fucking hyper. I rang her up to tell her that what had happened, and for the first couple of minutes, I couldn't breathe. I was like
Right.
crying and shit, and she was like, "Oh my god, what's happened? You have to say some words. I feel like something's terrible's happened." I'm like, "No, no, I just." It was like I said, it was fuck, mate. Honestly, that was one of the biggest days of my fucking life, mate. Because this meant so much to me. These guys were everything. The Star Trek was
Yeah,
a
yeah,
core.
yeah.
It was the sci-fi. It was the show. It was the everything that I had really kind of had at the center of my being. Star Trek was
I
that
love that
profound
you
for me.
have that.
Yeah.
I love that you have that because I literally have like zero of that. I
Oh,
just like I don't ever get starstruck.
I
Again,
also got to
these
meet
people
Kate
were my
Mulgrew as well. By the
clients.
way, I can't believe I missed her out, but I got to meet Kate Mulgrew as well.
Ah,
Who was the female
Nice.
captain on Voyager. Yeah, so I
Um,
met, I mean, dude, I
yep,
was,
she's really nice.
she's fucking lovely, isn't she? I mean, and this is the thing, I met my fucking heroes and they were awesome. Brett Spiner was a bit of a douche canoe though, bless
You
him.
know they shot the whole pilot of Voyager with somebody else, and they reshot it.
Yes, that's right, they did. Yes, yes,
They
I'm
shot the
so
whole
glad.
pilot with a different
I don't know,
captain,
I've
and they
seen it, it's weird.
they they didn't like her after the first one, and she was being
Yeah,
like snobby and entitled, and she was like, I don't know her name, but she was like a French actress, and
uh-huh.
I
yeah,
watched
sure.
the original pilot. It's garbage.
Yeah,
Like
it's
it is
garbage. Yeah, I've seen it.
garbage.
Mm.
No,
And like
she's well cast.
yeah, well she
Yeah,
was a
she's
Kate
nobody.
Mulgrew.
She
Oh,
was
dude,
also a
she was
nobody at the
amazing.
time. She was
she's like she's another one where you just can't imagine you just really can't imagine anyone else.
and she gets her
Oh,
coffee, and
100%.
Picard would always get his tea. It was always a thing.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Tea, Earl Grey, hot.
I
Oh,
remember
fuck yeah.
there. Hey, and if you're gonna say like captains, technically Tim becomes a captain later on, so you got to meet him now.
Oh, there you go. See, there you go. Dunk breaking out the getting real nerdy there, Owen.
You can come
So,
here
Oh,
yeah.
to Los Angeles and hang out, and Joe and I will go to
oh
Cantor's
my
with you,
good
and you can go meet
God.
Tim and hear him playing in his band.
Fuck's sake,
And because
mate.
he plays at Cantor's.
Yeah, he
Oh,
no
for
joke. He plays.
piss sake.
So I try and go over
How
there and
much?
support his band
No,
whenever I
right.
can.
Can I just be super selfish here? Can I just ask some really? This is all about me right now. I need to know some shit. Like, how much of a fucking hookup can you really get me here? Like, I mean, can Tim open the door to like Kate? Can Kate open the door to like? Yeah. How many of these motherfuckers can we go and see? Right. Like, how good is this? What can we
I mean,
do? Like,
I think that you think you get this mental image that all the Star Trek people are just like they have like a a club that they go to at the end of the day,
they don't just
but
hang out in the ready room.
just hang out at the end of the day. No, but it's often like actors, for instance, you'll work on a show and you'll be like, I have people that I work with. I'm like, oh man, I worked on them on these shows and they're still good friends. I haven't talked to them in 6 months,
Oh, sure. No, I get
that
that.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
So there are
Yeah.
people that you talk to, but you're not like necessarily talking to them on a day to day.
No.
But like I've gone and done stuff with him that I've met other people, and that's kind of how it is like you.
I mean, I would be delighted to meet fucking anybody, but meeting Tim Russ would be
Yeah, I mean,
stunning because
if
I
you
mean I
come this
love
way, man,
Tuvok and I love and
I'll text you.
he wasn't just in Voyager, he was also in Star Trek 6, The
Yeah,
Undiscovered Country. He was on the bridge of
uh,
the Excelsior. Yeah.
Generations. He was in
Generations.
Generations,
Oh, of course he was, not Excelsior.
playing a
What was
different
Excelsior?
character.
Oh yeah. Well, of course he was a different character. Yeah, absolutely. But it's fun to sort of look at him
Hmm.
and think, that's Tuvok. He's just very
He
old, isn't he?
also
Because he's a
played
Vulcan.
multiple different like makeup characters in both Deep Space Nine and in Next Generation.
Oh, fantastic.
But you don't recognize him because he's got a bunch of makeup on.
Yeah, man. There's
So
so many reused actors. There's like 20
Uh,
fucking characters played by the
oh
same
no, that's a
dude.
that's a thing in Star Trek. A whole bunch of people would just reuse their makeup over it, like the same actors, and they just put like, maybe one alien 1 week, and it's that's a career, guys. That's what just
Yeah,
if you're
well,
putting that
Jeffrey
much prosthetics
Combs.
on, that's they don't do that to just anyone.
Yeah, man. Jeffrey Combs, who played Wayoon, which was, by the way, one of the best characters. I mean, Wayoon as a
Hmm.
character almost made DS9 worth watching by himself. But
Hmm.
he was in every now I've seen that. Every time I see it, I'm like, dude, Wayoon is everybody in Star Trek. He's just been so many guys. It's crazy. Um, oh, honestly, I love it. This is so much fun. But
Oh
here's the
well,
thing.
when
I
you come
get to
visit,
two.
well,
Yeah, well,
you're going to be able to meet him. That's like
that's
just when you,
fuck's
I'll show you.
sake.
I'll show you where to connect with him.
Dude, you're serious?
And you have to
Fuck.
come here to do it.
I'm good. I'm good, mate. I'm good with that. I don't give a fuck, mate. I'll come in a fucking month. I'm booked off some time. I've got nothing to
I'll,
do. I'll
I'll
get on a fucking plane, mate.
I'll send you his event calendar. Like
Okay.
where when he,
Okay.
it's like
Okay.
yeah, I mean,
Honestly, I'm fucking coming. Guys, seriously, I've
you
booked
don't
a
need to
week
know
off.
like the you don't need to know him like I do to go to his event. Like
Oh,
anybody can go. It's
okay. Oh,
free.
you can just go and say,
It's
oh,
free.
okay, sure,
It's
sure.
free. Like you can go there, but like like I go there to support. It's basically like so that building, that section of that building, it's really like a really old building. And during
yes,
Prohibition, that section of that it wasn't Cantor's at the time, but that
yeah,
section was a speakeasy.
the
Oh,
speakeasy. Yep, yep.
wow. Oh, I love
So
that
that
about your
speakeasy is
history.
now a bar attached to this restaurant. And they've opened it up a little bit, but
Yes,
even if you
that's
look for the
right.
door, it's almost if you don't know where the
I know.
if they didn't put the handle on the door, it
Yes,
would disappear into the wall.
that's
So have
right.
you ever seen or heard of the movie Suicide Squad?
Yes.
Okay, so like all those speakeasies were run by that gangster Mickey Cohen,
Oh, wow.
and he
Not
he
the
was
superhero one, not the superhero suicide, the other one.
yeah,
Yeah.
the one based on like LA gang culture.
Mhm.
So like during Prohibition, like LAPD made like a squad of detectives where they were like, look, we're not able to like catch these guys and prosecute them in court because they would just keep getting off. They didn't have RICO statutes and stuff yet, so they put together this like what they called the Suicide Squad, and they would just literally just go out and just go murder uh, Mickey Cohen's like gangsters. And
Wow.
Mickey Cohen was mixed up with so like that in LA there was like the Italian mafia. It wasn't like the same as LA. There was a lot more like Jewish mafia. Like there was a gang called like Murder Inc., the Purple Gang. That was like that was kind of like who the Italians in New York would hire to do a lot of like assassinations and stuff. And as things moved out west because of like Hollywood and Las Vegas, and then along with Prohibition happening at the same time, they kind of just moved operations out here. And so like Bugsy Siegel, like there's a big there's a big back and forth between LA and Las Vegas. And so like you'll even still see it today where you'll see like Siegel properties, and they own like half of Las Vegas.
Wow.
And that's like like literally founded by the mafia. It's all clean now. It's all like a legit company now. But like even that guy Bugsy Siegel, he got murdered in L.A., like in Beverly Hills.
Wow.
And so like all that like that area that Dunk is talking about right there, that was like a total like big um like a mob hotspot in
It feels like that even
that.
today.
Yeah,
Like just
yeah.
the vibe of that street just has
Well,
so
like
much.
again,
Yeah.
like even like I was saying, like just now, like I was just saying, like you walk down that street and people like to this day will ask you, like, do you want fake papers? Do you want a fake passport? Do you want a license? Like, what, and you can get it right there. They'll take you and take a picture of you and like make a fake passport, and You know,
Wow.
they've got, you know, it's all right there. You know, they'll do it for you. So yep, that I knew it. I knew I was going to get a ding. I knew I was going to get a ding. Damn it. Damn it. Was it really that much history? I didn't really. It wasn't that much
It didn't
history.
go
Come
too
on.
far. It didn't go too far.
No, that was fine.
I hovered, man. I hovered. And in the end, I thought, you know what? It almost didn't happen. But then I was like, no, I want it to happen because
Okay. Well,
you definitely,
it was
we
history.
took a bit of yeah, we had a bit of a dive.
Damn it. You know what?
Star Wars and Star Trek is history. Just
Well, that's
saying.
true.
Yeah.
Well,
So ding yourself, guys. I've
hey,
actually been
ah,
incredibly well behaved today. I've been incredibly well
Yeah,
behaved.
he hasn't complained about how nerdy the conversation went.
that's true. Well, I don't really
Yeah.
know what
Well,
one
I
can we
didn't.
have? Can we have? I don't know about
No,
that.
I don't
That
even
doesn't
care.
sound
No,
so good.
none of that even bugs me because you know, at the end of the day, I'm a geeky nerd
Oh,
myself.
dude, this is the thing, isn't
I'm
it?
just glad that like Dunk's voice doesn't sound like so heroin-y anymore. So
Yeah,
I'm glad he woke
It's
up
just
or
that
definitely picked
tea. I just
himself.
drank some tea. I just needed to get a
Some tannins.
little.
took a little hit of Narcan to, you know, kind of clear the opiates out of his body.
Just look,
You know,
it's
sounding
the
awake.
tannins, man. It's the tannins,
Yeah.
the polyphenolic compounds. That's what's fixed in there. You know, it worked for Doctor Who. It's worked for Dunk. That's great.
Exactly.
Oh, I love it. Okay, yeah,
Doctor Who.
yeah. Oh, I fucking love Doctor Who. Seriously, I mean, it's one of those ones
I,
again
I,
where it's like it's on the fringe of my
I'm a little bit
enjoyment.
behind. I haven't watched any from the most recent Doctor for that one. So
Okay.
Oh, he's good.
Okay.
He's a good
Okay.
guy. He's a good guy.
okay, good.
Uh,
I just haven't had time. I'm busy. I'm busy
Yeah.
hanging out
That.
with Joe. So
Hold on a
I
second. I do need to find because you guys are getting a little geeky there with the Doctor Who shit. So I'm trying to find
we need something, don't we?
logic. That's like one of the longest running sci-fi shows, though.
that one.
It is, isn't it?
But mhm.
Doctor Who.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It is,
yeah, man.
it's.
and
I
I've
think it's the
never even
longest
seen it.
running sci-fi show in history, from what I understand. I mean, there was a little bit of a gap. There were some gap years
Is
between seasons.
Doctor Who, is that the Benedict Cumberbatch one where he's got like a cape?
No,
No,
that's
that's Doctor
Sherlock
Strange. That's
or
Doctor
Doctor Strange.
Strange.
That's
That's
Yeah,
Doctor
Doctor
Strange.
Strange.
yeah.
Okay,
Doctor Who's the one with the
Doctor
okay.
Who is like an
TARDIS.
old
The old.
sci-fi show.
Yeah, it's just the TARDIS. He's a time
BBC.
traveling doctor. He's a time lord, and he goes around in an old 1960s police telephone box. Because the
Preet
TARDIS.
didn't like that. He thumbs down to ooh.
Oh, oh.
Okay, so and then what does he do? He just like goes around and time travels and
He is. Yeah,
Well,
jacks off in
there
phone
was an
booths or
issue where
something. What does he do?
they needed to recast him one year. Like the actor moved on, so instead of just doing like a lazy recast of the actor, they wrote it into the actual story of the show that to be like, oh, every certain amount of time, this alien that we made up regenerates, and then that way, oh, magically, it's a different actor that has different personality traits. That's a completely different person, sometimes a different gender, whatever they want to do, like, so they just regenerate. And then they said, I think it was like 12 or something that you're able to do.
Brother, I don't even know what you're saying. I'm sorry. You know what? I didn't even hear
When
the
a
answer.
person glows and a different actor comes out.
Yeah, that's the thing. So it can
Understood.
keep going
Understood.
forever.
I see we have.
It's like a cheesy sci-fi solution to recasting an actor that became story canon in the show. That's all.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
well,
it's
I see that we have a little audience interaction. I'm just gonna bring Crete in here real quick. What's up, Crete? How are you, sir?
Yeah, my bad. There's that delay between the speakers and the listeners. I
that's fine.
thumbs down at Doctor Strange.
That's it.
Doctor Who is the fucking shit, man. Like, Joe,
Good.
you gotta watch it.
Oh my
Yay! Okay,
God,
Yeah,
I
good,
was
good.
bringing you up to be a fucking life raft for me. What the hell's going on here?
and this is my perfect example. So it's like you can just turn your brain off because like he's trying to explain to them about time travel, and in an episode, and he says he's like, so you think of time as a linear cause and effect, but really it's more of a wibbly
Wobbly,
wobbly,
timey,
timey
wimey.
wimey thing.
Yes, yes.
And that's all you needed for the explanation. It was like, yep, that works. I can take that. Thank you.
Yeah,
Next.
there. But
Mhm.
see, Dunk
That's what he
doesn't know how to
says.
do that. Dunk doesn't know how to do that because he's been shooting up heroin all morning. So,
And last
you know,
night.
he can't
But that's
really explain that like that.
but that's canon. That's what the Doctor himself tells the people he's talking to in the show about it too. And it's so much fun. You've probably heard of some of the universe. You've probably heard of the Daleks. You must have heard of the Daleks. You know,
No,
You
no,
you
you have
no,
even
Owen,
heard of the
it
Daleks?
wasn't
Or,
no.
until recently that Doctor Who was even known in the United States. So in like the early 2000s, Sci-Fi Channel actually bought the syndication rights to Doctor Who, and that was the first time that it actually made it into the United States. After Sci-Fi ended up, our contract ended, BBC America launched in the United States as a cable channel, and it moved there. But until
For
yeah,
that
God's
point,
sake, you know what, Dunk? Head over to my
what a
house. Give me
lad.
some of the heroin here because I can't take anymore.
it's on Disney
Shit, I'll
Plus.
take
Listen,
some of
listen,
it.
listen, 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 Joe.
Yeah.
This is the fun thing. So, this is the whole thing. The Doctor is traveling around the universe for all time, usually with one or more companions, regular humans who help ground the show, right, and give the audience someone to relate to, right. They face off against all sorts of threats, alien invasions, historical catastrophes, and as a historian, you might enjoy some of that. Strange monsters and more dilemmas. Okay, and the whole thing is that the tone can shift from silly and whimsical to dark and emotional, but at its core. Doctor Who is about hope, kindness, and cleverness winning the day. And
Oh,
that,
well, I love that.
there you
Okay.
go. Yeah. And
Except,
that's why I think you will actually enjoy it.
yeah, like another one. He was going around. He had to like find something, and he pulls out this like ridiculous looking little device, and his companion's like, "What's that?" He's like, "It's the device." And they're like, "What's it do?" Well, when we're close, it'll go ding. That's it. That's all you
Yeah.
get from him for the
Yeah.
explanation of.
Why is Adam
It'll go
sad?
ding.
Adam Heiserman was sad then and had a sad face when we talked about bit of when I gave my Doctor Who explanation there. I don't know why Adam was
Oh,
upset.
you know,
Adam might be your savior, but I feel like maybe
yeah.
you're coming over now. And the other thing, Joe, is it's very British, and you do like British things.
Oh, well,
Oh,
then
it's
I'll love it.
so
Then I'll
British.
love it.
It's
Oh, then okay,
so
then I'll love
British.
it.
You
I
have
am such a
definitely
fucking
Anglophobe.
Anglophile,
you have
Anglophile, sorry.
not a
definitely
phobe.
No,
seen
No,
the
Anglophile,
TARDIS.
sorry,
I'm an
Anglophile.
Anglophile,
That's
like
right, that's right.
to my core, man. You cut this arm,
Yes.
brother. You cut this arm, and I'm bleeding the Union goddamn Jack. Okay,
Beautiful.
I love, dude.
Beautiful.
We owe so much to the British Empire. Anywhere the British Empire was, look at anywhere that they had colonized, they're a democracy today.
Boom.
So, just saying, just saying,
But
There it
so
is.
Joe, you have definitely seen the TARDIS somewhere. It's the blue phone box. It's like a call box, like a telephone booth, but it's the blue one.
Yeah.
I'm sure if I saw it, I would recognize it.
I wouldn't bother. You know, in the same way that you were saying that Star Trek, the original stuff, is a little bit too,
Yeah,
a little
yeah,
bit
yeah,
too kitsch going.
yeah.
I would start with the 2005 reboot of Doctor Who because it's the kind of the most modern
But it's still canon.
reinterpretation,
The whole
but it's
thing's still
still
canon to
canon.
each other.
It's
Like
always canon.
they took the old show and they just continued the story. They didn't reboot it.
Yeah, correct. Indeed. So when I say reboot, I don't mean it in the same sense. Yes, absolutely. And honestly, the actors who play the Doctor are really fucking good. We've had Peter Capaldi play the Doctor. We've had Matt Smith,
Hertz.
Yeah, David Tennant was the best. David Tennant's the
David
best.
Tennant. Absolutely love
Oh,
David
David
Tennant.
Tennant.
Matt
Okay, yeah, I
Smith
like
was
him
always
too.
my favorite personally. I don't care what anybody
Yeah,
says.
it's a toss up
Although,
between Matt Smith and David Tennant for me.
Like
yeah,
I didn't want to watch or Matt Smith at first. I'm like, this guy looks really weird, and then I watched him. Like, I like the fact that he looks like kind of like a caveman.
he, he the,
And I
the,
tell you
the
what, there's
guy.
always a hot bird as well. There's always a hot bird on
Yeah,
as his companion.
but
Always a
but he
hottie in a
said
short skirt.
fezzes are cool. But don't forget about that. Fezzes are cool.
Says it's are cool.
Fezzes are very
No,
cool.
that was a whole entire tagline for like multiple seasons. Like that was their marketing campaign.
I will wear a
Sorry,
All
fez.
it said
Creep.
was fezzes are cool because that was like his. Every once in a while, he'd end up with a fez on. He'd be like, "What do you look? What's fezzes are cool?" And
So
it
why are you
became
wearing
a
a
thing.
fez? And he's like, because fezzes
Fezzes
are
are cool.
cool. Yeah, but he didn't just say fezzes are cool. He's like, fezzes are cool.
They are cool. They're very cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Creep. This is good. I'm glad you came on. You've helped. You've helped bring
Yeah,
Joe
Creed's a
over.
great guy. Creed's a great
Well,
guy.
I love Doctor Who, man. I can't get enough. I can't remember the actor's name. The first season, the relaunch though. But
Oh, yes, he
he
was
did a really
great.
good job. But he fucked up because he told them he would only do one season because he didn't want to be typecast, and then he's never been in anything
Anything
since.
else
Yeah,
since the
Eccleston. It's
bald
Chris
guy, right?
Eccleston. Kristen. No,
Yeah,
Christopher
that-
Eccleston. You're talking about
Yeah,
Christopher Eccleston, aren't
He
you?
did the one
yeah.
season and then left, and then you had what's his name?
Oh, bold. He is pretty
David.
bold, I
You had
guess.
David
Well, not
Tennant
bold, but
come in and like
just
take over.
winning. But Chris Eccleston did such a great job in that first season.
Oh, you know what? I need to tell you guys some personal growth that I've had in my life, some personal development.
Okay, boom. Let's
I
go.
made an AI agent. So I didn't sleep very much last night.
Okay.
I started yesterday, and I'd kind of been up all night with the help of Chat GPT, and I made an AI agent that
Nice.
will basically it will suggest whiskeys for you.
That seems like a good use.
That's
Yeah,
a
no,
very good
I mean, it
use.
has a
Fine.
very good real world use. If you like have a budget, say, hey, I have $100. Um, what whiskey do you think I should buy? And it will suggest whiskey for you.
Wow.
It's pretty cool, huh? Yeah, I did it, dude. And I like actually right before we went live, I tested it, and his name is Bob, and Bob is functional.
I
What are
feel
you
like I'm
hosting it with? Like, is it
fast.
just in ChatGPT, or are you hosting outside of it?
So I haven't. So right now, I've just got it on like a local server.
Nice.
And I'm gonna, what I'm gonna do, kind of my like phase two is I'm gonna set up a little website for it. And
Hmm.
I have been tempted to call both of you at several times where I wanted to like throw my computer against the wall. Dunk has seen me have meltdowns.
It really does. It
Dunk
does
is
not take much. Like
and it doesn't take
all I
much.
asked him
It's
to
right.
do was type in it, not reset a password. Like just type in the password, and he was already almost punching the screen in. Like
Yeah,
it doesn't
yeah.
take much.
Dunk has seen me have meltdowns, and like I just don't like tech. So I was actually going to call both of you guys at one point because I'm just like, Dunk, I need your help. Owen, I need, and you guys both know this shit. So I was gonna like reach out, but I was like, no, no, no. I need to learn this myself. I really need to learn how to do this. And ChatGPT helped me so fucking much.
Oh
Like
yeah.
I can just like take a picture of the screen like you taught me.
Hey, and by the way,
And
if you have like the newer version of ChatGPT where you could download it to your computer, I don't know what computers are compatible. You could actually have it share your code now. So if you like are doing
Yeah.
something,
no, that's what it did for me
but
like at a
but I'm just
couple
saying
points
now
where it
you
like
now
took my
you
code
don't
and
even
it like
need to
found the error.
paste it back in now.
Oh, I
So
see. I
you
see.
basically have like your document that you're working on your code, and it will
Hmm.
just live reference it and go like, oh, you need like what's not working. It'll be like, well, it looks like this is going on, and when you ran the code, this error happened. It will just do it all in the like
Wow.
without you having to
Wow, wow, wow.
copy and paste, which it can be
Yeah,
a
it's crazy.
it can
And
be
it was
crazy.
just so wild, man, because like again, you guys know I suck. Like I
I'm proud of
suck.
you for most people would not have even gotten that far just to get something simple.
Well, that's
Most
like
people would
why
have
I
not.
stayed. That's why I've been awake all night because I'm like, having to just like. I mean,
Did you
dude,
never fucking
I,
sleep,
I,
man?
I
Yeah,
failed,
Owen, when
dude.
you were thinking that he was up early, he just never went to bed.
Yeah,
Oh,
I just like I only slept for like an hour.
wow.
So I fell asleep from
How are you
like
doing that?
2:30 to like 3, so maybe like a half hour,
I
and then
think
I've
he's
just been back
projecting
at
on
it.
who's doing some of the drugs. Just saying.
I was going to say, what the fuck are you? Yeah, like,
Whoa! I'm busted.
how are
I've been
you? Yeah.
busted.
What is this? Is this cocaine? What are
Shit.
we dealing with here?
Shit.
What,
Busted.
what is it you get? What
Oh
is the
God,
San
no.
Francisco upper? You know?
San Francisco upper. No, 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 no. See, look, I mean, I've done a little nose candy in my day once or twice,
Oh,
but
of course.
I mean,
Wait
Dude,
it's
till you
just one of
wait.
those things that like I just, I'm happy to go the rest of my life never doing it again. It is just
yeah.
as you
Wait,
get
wait,
older, it is
try
the
some.
worst.
Wait till you try some meth, Joe. That stuff's really
Never tried
Oh,
that.
stuff.
oh,
Yeah,
That
never
makes
tried that.
really productive. Let me tell you.
holy
Let me.
shit. No, he's
No,
not.
I never.
I just take Dayquil. That's all that I.
Never tried that. Never tried that creep because the city I grew up in was a city that was just devastated by meth, and so I grew up around a lot of tweakers, and just one of those things where I was like, I will you could pay me $1 million and I will never touch that shit.
I'm not even joking. I worked for a company where my foreman just had a bag of it on the dashboard and like Advil. He's
Oh
like,
Bacon.
You
man,
got to get through the day, man.
there you go, have a little bit. It was
dude,
we
it's
poured so much concrete, it was crazy.
it's so
That's the thing.
prevalent in the construction trades, like
Oh,
it
bloody
really
hell.
is. Like people, like again, I worked construction forever, so I've
Well,
definitely been around it.
that's why people
Stocks
like
and trading and all
Ritalin.
that too. Like a lot
That's
of
why
people in that industry staying up
people
all night
love.
trying to trade.
Well, yeah, man. And doctors that get degrees and stuff, like all these
Oh yeah,
folks,
they do it too.
Everyone's on Ritalin, but it's the socially acceptable version, right?
Well,
You know.
well, it's the pharmaceutical grade. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
God,
I
if you've ever seen someone smoke that stuff, so like I've seen guys smoke it on job sites, bro, the fucking like the amount of smoke they blow out is fucking
Black smoke too.
insane.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'll give myself that. I never smoked it. I was just all about eating and sniffing it. But holy fuck, man, 3 years went by in a blink of an eye.
I bet you were the
Yeah.
most productive 3 years of your life, though, right?
I got so much shit done. It
This
was
motherfucker, you've never seen anybody stamp concrete like Crete. You've never seen.
I was I was pounding stakes one day for our back stakes, and I swear I did like 120 meters in like 15 minutes, and they were all spaced a foot apart.
Yeah, that's insane.
My foreman comes up, and he's like, "Okay, go take a break now." Like,
Yeah, right. Like you just did the whole day of work, and it's okay, go home.
yeah, that
Uh,
was great.
God dang,
Wow.
yeah, no, never touch that stuff.
Drugs are bad.
Um, I more messed around with the kind of stuff Dunk likes. I always like downers.
Aha.
So yeah,
Wow.
that was more my speed. That was more my speed.
Sounds right, actually. You do sound like
Yeah,
you're kind of the smooth end of the drug spectrum, as should we say,
yeah. I
instead of the
you know
sharp
so
end.
so for me like if I'm gonna do drugs and get high, I don't want to fucking work. I want to, relax into my seat and listen to Pink Floyd.
But
My
it's
idea of a good high isn't like, all right, guys, let's go take apart that clock radio. Like that's like what tweakers do. They're like, wow, let's go strip down some cabinets right
oh
now.
mate,
It's like,
everything becomes fascinating though, and then you've
yeah,
got a
There's a reason I
limitless
have all these
energy.
LEDs linked to my music in my apartment. There's a reason. It's like
Wait.
I just like I had this buddy actually. There was a buddy of mine, this guy Brad. He's actually in your industry, Dunk. He's like
I
um
know a guy named
just
Brad in my industry.
up
Maybe it's
he
the
was
same
up
guy.
north.
Ah,
He's no, he was up north, but like
Deep
same,
North.
same industry as you. And I just like met him fishing one time, and I liked him. He's a cool guy, and we'd hang out every once in a while. But he would do that shit. And my God, man, I just remember like going over to his house one time. We were in his garage, and just all the shit that he's like doing, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? He's like taking cameras up because he's a cameraman. It's like same thing as you. He said all these fucking camera parts everywhere, and just all this shit going on. It's like, what the fuck are you
you
doing,
mean
man?
you don't
Like,
have multiple $1 million cameras just taken apart on
yeah,
your
no,
table?
I mean, and well, and that was the thing. I was just like looking. I was like, you must have like millions of dollars on this table right here. Like, what are you doing? Yeah,
Wow.
It's
really, what are
crazy
you
when
doing?
something's broken. You can go buy something that is $100,000 or more. I was looking, we were buying these Betamax tape decks. When they came out, they were $500,000 tape decks. No joke, half a million dollars per tape deck.
Oh,
Do you know how much?
wow.
Do you know how much we bought them for? $50.
What?
Jeez,
And
jeez.
it just needed a
Jesus.
new ribbon in it. So we like this was for a company that we were trying to source one. So we bought it for $50, got it repaired for about like $300. So for $350, we had a tape deck that 10 years earlier was $500,000. But
Right.
still because all the tape, what we needed it for was we were digitizing like um all the old digital tapes, like digital
That's
HD tapes
cool.
that we used to have.
Oh,
But
dude.
we needed to get the tape deck. But the point is like how quickly that technology goes down in value. But then the
Mm.
thing is that the resale on one that was working was still like $50,000, like if it was
Oh,
working. So that's the reason why we
wow.
found one that was broken. So for like 500-ish bucks, after it's all said and done, we got something that was worth $500,000 a while ago that would have cost
That's
50,000 to get
crazy.
one using. But it's just
Wow.
about finding something that, if you know how to fix it, like in my
Mm.
in my place right now, there's this thing called Computer Space. It's an arcade. It's one of the first 100 arcades ever created. Non-operational, it's worth like a couple
Oh
thousand
wow.
dollars.
Wow.
Operational, it is worth $100,000. So
Okay.
you see, like
Okay.
we bought it non-operational from a auction, refurbished it, and put the screen that was missing because it's really hard to find the right screen for it. But we found one, put it in. Now your couple $1,000s is worth $100,000. It's like all you need to
Whoa.
do is find something that's broken and fix it.
Jeez.
Wow.
Now that would
Wow.
Wow.
that would require us to sell it. There's always like a
Well, now
market
you got to
for
find a buyer. Yeah, you
but
got to find a buyer.
for that particular one, the arcade, it's actually on a historical
I'm
list.
actually having, that's actually something you could probably help me with, Dunk. You know that I don't know if you've noticed in my garage, I have like a Westinghouse generator.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Um, and like I want to sell it. I just don't know like how to really do that.
I
Sounds like the
I honestly,
meth.
I would do Facebook Marketplace around here.
Facebook.
Facebook
Yeah, I don't even.
Marketplace.
Yeah, I don't
Don't
even
mess.
have that.
I mean, if you have a Facebook, you have Facebook Marketplace. It's
I don't
just
even have a Facebook. Yeah.
or
So
like one of us can help list it for you or something. But that's
yeah.
usually to sell locally if you just don't want to deal with shipping it. Um,
Well, see, that's what I was worried about. If I sold it online, then I'd have to like mail it, right? And that's gonna
that's
it's
you.
a
You could always
fucking
say
generator,
local
bro.
pickup only, but no, just I would do Facebook Marketplace, list it, and say local pickups only.
Right, right. And it's like, and the thing is, it's like, so like, I haven't really even used it. So can I sell it for almost like
It
retail
would be
or?
called like new. You explain the condition. You would have to mark it down a little bit, because
Sure,
but
sure.
yeah, yeah,
Take $100 off type thing.
yeah. But
And
like new, and then pick up only. Just, I mean, you could even in the description say, "Hey, this is brand new.
so
I just opened it, never needed it." So
if it were something where it's like this normally goes for $1,000, what could I sell it for?
I would go and look at what other ones are listed at, like look on eBay and Facebook Marketplace and see like the average for something in similar condition. So I'd have to go look at that, but I mean, if it's brand new and you're marking it down, then I would like at least take 10-20% off, and I think you're fine usually. Like
And then you're
if it's
good.
new.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe next time you're over, you can help me with
and
this.
and like
Yeah.
you will lose some prospects if you say local pickup. But were actually selling something once and local pickup only, and then they're like, "Oh, I ordered it anyways, but could you ship it?" And then like we charge them like an insane fee to go ship it. We're like, "Sure, guy, this is our fee to ship it." We
That's the
said
fee to
local.
ship.
We
Yeah.
we said local pickup only, and you bought it anyways, and you still want it.
Well,
So
see, like that's the thing. Like, with some of my old like construction tools, dude. Like, like I don't, I've got this. You've been in here. You've
Mhm.
seen everything I have. And it's like I have that big tile saw. I have a big, I have a big
Yeah.
table saw. I've got a big, I've got that fucking big 24-inch chop saw. It's like,
Hmm.
I don't need any of that stuff, and those are all worth a lot of money.
I've
Hmm.
got
So
so much shit I need to sell as well. It's funny how we
yeah, I'm like.
accumulate things, isn't it?
Well, for me, I mean, this is, I owned a construction company, so I needed all this at one
Yeah,
point,
exactly,
and
exactly.
because I wouldn't expect my guy, so like really like, I didn't expect my employees to go buy to go buy a tile saw or a table saw. I expected them to have like a circular saw, like a
Mm.
skill saw, but beyond like just kind of the standard tools, I'm not going to expect a guy to go drop $1,000 on, a table saw.
It's the
Like,
same thing in film sets. Like I have my kit. Like I have the stuff that I bring to work with me every single day. But then there's
right.
the stuff that I expect
Like
to,
your boss provides. Yeah.
that they, and in my case there's a lot of things that obviously, there's the big things like cameras that obviously I'm not providing, but there's other things that I
For
use
sure.
on a day to day at work, like expendables would be a thing. I don't know if you know what that, like things that
Yeah.
we might
Yeah. It
throw
would, it would,
things we
it
might
would be
throw
like
away.
the type of thing, like in for me, like the actual saw blade.
Yeah,
You're going to
exactly.
throw the blade
Something that's
away.
going
Yeah.
to end up wearing out or be thrown
Yeah.
away at the end.
Right.
They buy all that stuff for those things, and I don't expect to buy. I actually have a trunk full, like my car is just filled with expendables that I've like have extra at the end of seasons that I probably, like, no joke, I have like thousands and thousands of dollars of expendables just lying around, like
Right.
that shows have bought for me,
Well, you should
like
like
thousands.
help me move some of this stuff, Dunk. You should help me sell some of this stuff
Hmm.
because like it's just sitting here I'm like I really I'd also just like to get rid of a lot of this stuff too,
Take some space.
just to make the studio like even more like because as we keep doing this stuff,
Yeah, you'll
you know,
expand.
like well, I want to expand it and like just as we keep doing the show here, you know, like we're gonna start doing more video content.
Hmm.
And I want, the studio's
And
already
you're
looking pretty damn
you're
professional.
built to have to be on camera, like you got
I,
everything's.
I, I am, yeah. So, like I want to start using it, like because I've got a great little camera space here. It's
Yeah.
perfect.
By the way, if anybody's ever listened, like he set that up in his garage, and if that's like, maybe you say I don't have a garage to set it up. You have a corner. You have a dining room table. Do you have a like? Do it wherever you want. Just Joe had a garage. Just go and do something.
Well, yeah, sure. But anyway, and you have a bunch of shit too, huh? You need to get rid of?
Yeah, it's mostly like old electronics, old computer things, old
Hmm.
like old bikes, old uh bits of car, all sorts of random things. I just never. I'm rubbish at selling anything. You see, I'll just keep hold of it and go, oh yeah, loads of old. But
So
some of it's useless, some of it's still good. I don't know. But I
why
just
do you have why do you have a bunch of electronics? Like why do you have a bunch of like computer stuff? Did you build computers?
Yeah, I used to be, before I was a software engineer, I used to be sort of an IT kind of systems engineer person, and we used to and networking and stuff. So I used to have a lot of fun. I would bring things home from work which were either not needed anymore, or I would just borrow from the office, and then eventually they just forgot about them, so I'd keep them, and I would just have all this stuff. I had like server cabinets and servers and networking
Right.
stuff and all that, and just yeah, and I used to build PCs for fun, go on, like high end gaming rigs, and play the shit out of
That's
them for a little
amazing.
while.
You'd build a
Yeah.
PC for fun. I
Oh,
love it.
definitely,
I
man.
love that.
Yeah, I used to love all that. Yeah, I mean, I feel like the one. So there's a guy called there's a show called
Gun to head, I couldn't do that.
Li-
I just love that you do that for
well, this
fun.
is it. There's a guy called Linus. Well, there's a show called Linus Tech Tips. And
Okay.
I like that show.
oh, it's fantastic, isn't it? And Linus
Mhm.
Sebastian is the guy that owns it, and I always look at him and think he stole my life. Like I should have done what he did, because I can watch Linus
It's
Tech
not too
Tips.
late, by the way. You can still do it. Come on, man.
Well, I mean, okay,
Nothing's ever too late for you, man. You can do whatever you want.
oh, I love this guy. This is the guy. How much
I
fucking
know.
meth did you put in your tea, man?
I
You've
know.
come out the
Dunk.
other end.
See, he had to like put a lot of meth in there to counter out the.
Big
He's
time.
on a
He's come out the
speedball
other end. He has
basically.
come out the other
Yeah.
end. Like
Yeah.
this is a complete inversion. This is crazy.
Right. Right.
But that's the thing. I used to watch
It's because
him.
I had my cup of green tea actually this morning. I know you're gonna hit me for that.
Is that what they call it now? They call it green tea. That's okay. That's what they call it now. I didn't ask Crete, but that must be what they call it these days. Okay, green tea.
But this was the thing. I found it all deeply fascinating, and I would just spend my whole life just doing that stuff. The stuff that LTT talks about and does and is interested in. They're all super geeky, awesome dudes that just know everything about all the stuff they're doing, and they just know it so well because that is their life. And I find it all brilliantly fascinating, and I could never put it down. It was never a day's work to me. Software engineering has always been effort. Software engineering has always
Right.
been something where I've actually had to graft. But
Okay.
with and you kind of feel like at the end of the day you need to collapse. Whereas the other stuff, the system stuff, well, we've always just did it because it was never work. I might do like 14 hours, 16 hours doing this stuff, and people will go, "Wow, your work ethic's crazy," and I'm like, I'm having the time of my life. I would finish and then go home and do more because I just wanted to keep going. And it's funny, it's one of those weird things where I look back and I go, why the fuck did I pivot? And it was because a friend was interested in software engineering and he offered me a job. And he said, "You're really clever and you'll be really good at this." And it very quickly paid a lot of money. So I thought, okay, yeah, I'll do that. But I kind of think in another life, if that hadn't gone that way, I would have been Linus Sebastian. And
Interesting.
now I feel like I still can be because of Dunk. So there you go. Watch out,
Yeah,
Linus,
because
my
of
friend. Well,
Dunk's fucking
yeah, because of his
inebriated high talk.
right. What a guy! I love this. So,
Yeah,
and I'm going to meet Tim Russ, and I'm going to be Linus Sebastian version 2.
I know. I just
It's
love it.
it's
I
it's
love it.
beautiful.
You
It's a
know,
beautiful
Dunk's not going
thing.
to remember any of this tomorrow,
No,
but
no,
like
no,
right
no.
now,
I
while
don't
he's
even
all
remember what I said
excited,
5 seconds ago. Jeez.
yeah, man.
And
But
I still
it's
have to do my I have my tax appointment in 30 minutes. Jeez.
oh yeah,
I
man.
do that okay.
What a responsible junkie you are. You're gonna
It's
like
high
do your
functioning. It's high
taxes.
functioning. It's
Very
high.
high
I'm not
functioning
late, am
Yeah,
I?
junkie.
yeah. Well, apparently,
Um,
depends what you do.
oh, you know what? I need to do my taxes too. Yikes. Yeah, forgot about that.
A funny time of
It's
year for
that time of the
taxes,
year.
is it?
Yeah, fucking taxes.
Yeah.
I want to get a head start on next year's.
Oh, well, that's fair enough. Yeah, I say that every year as well. I'm always like, oh, this time I'm not going to wait until the last fucking 2 weeks. And then, it actually becomes the last 2 days instead.
Yes, exactly. You
Fuck's
didn't wait the
sake.
last 2 weeks. You waited
I'm
the
just
last
waiting
two
for that
days.
Right.
one last like 1099 easy to show up in the mail.
Yeah, I actually just got my last thing that I like my last Morgan Stanley one. Like it just came actually,
Mhm.
so I'm like ready to do it now.
Yeah.
But
It's
I will
fine. My
still watch it.
CPA is happy with me delaying it anyways. He's like, "Nah, it's fine. I'll extend you, and I won't have to worry about." There's other people that are like, "I need it done before the 15th," and I'm like, "Whatever, just schedule me
yeah,
whenever."
who cares? Yeah.
I went deep into this stuff too. It wasn't just the parts. I would get into like the architecture of the processors and the memory architecture and the design ethos of things and the limitations that they were trying to
It's
overcome, the
amazing.
ways they were trying to overcome it. And I just found it so fucking captivating. Yeah, I knew stuff to the degree that nobody fucking needed to know. Anybody that worked in any of those industries, I could be introduced to, and I would just fucking just own them. Like I'd be told, "Oh, this person knows about such and such." I'd go, "Oh, amazing, great," and I'd start talking to them, and they'd just be like, "Fuck, man." What the heck? No,
Fuck
I've
me.
got
Yeah, what
no.
just
Wow,
happened? Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, honestly, I don't know. I feel like I should have probably carried on down that route, really. So who knows? I might pivot back to it. But I will watch LTT. I will watch all those shows, and even
Well,
now,
see,
I've got no
here's the
idea,
thing,
but I will
Owen.
understand
Here's the
things.
thing.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep doing this. We're gonna finally like get a thing set up so people can like tip us, donate to us.
Mm.
We're gonna like finally
Well,
get that up and
we
running.
do have the PayPal for that, but we need a website with all the fucking links on it because we need to set up all the Patreon and everything as
Yeah,
well.
we need to set all that shit up
Yeah.
and start making some money on this thing. I also, excuse me, I also have a list of sponsors for us.
Heck.
So and then I told you guys too both about the iHeartRadio thing.
Yeah, man.
So I've got that in too with the CEO. So
Mm.
um, we'll pursue that also, and
Wonderful.
and then look, I really don't think it's gonna be too long or take us too long to get to a point to where we can like basically meet the income that you need to meet in order to quit your job,
Yeah, that'd be
and
amazing, and then I could pursue all sorts of
once you've
stuff.
done that, well, yeah, well, and once you've done that, then then we can really focus on getting our podcast like tip top shape, and then if you
Yeah.
wanted to do something on the side like that, you
Definitely.
could,
Oh, absolutely.
you
I
know,
think that's the right thing to do as well. I love the idea of being whatever, multi-pronged.
yeah,
Um,
totally,
Fantastic
totally,
passions. You got to follow them all. You got to you got to keep you got to have all sorts of pots cooking and all sorts of plates spinning. You got to do what feels good. And I think that
that's right.
you just shouldn't just be necessarily narrow. I mean, you can go deep on things. I do, but it's I think it's
No,
really important to have loads of
specialization is
things.
good
Yeah,
sometimes.
but there's loads of stuff I
Sometimes
want to
that's
get
good.
into, man. I want to get into the health
Yeah,
side of things too, because I'm trying to transform my life. I mean, fucking transform my life, and I did. I got really close to nailing it, and then, long stories, but kind of unwound some of it. But now I'm getting back into it again. I've gone from being a
me
guy,
too. Me
guy in
too.
a fucking basically in a wheelchair, to being somebody that was able to, deadlift. Big stuff, and was getting the ladies no problem. It was fantastic to being halfway back again, and now I'm kind of back in the other direction, and it's been a journey that's
You know
lasted a
what,
long fucking time,
Owen?
man.
I'll tell you what, man. I've been able to get the ladies no matter what, even overweight, and I bet you can too. So
No, that's the
It
thing.
ain't
I've
that.
never been
It ain't
perfect.
that.
No, well, it's all part and parcel. It's one of those weird things where it sort of feeds into itself because you are as attractive as you feel like you are, and at the
Well,
end of the
so there you
day,
go. I
when
was
you
gonna say that's maybe more of an inside confidence thing
exactly,
there. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So you
yeah,
set your own barometer, you set your own standard, and then when you feel
sure,
like you live up to it, you then exude that. Right. But then I
sure,
always had a
sure.
thing where I was like, this isn't right. I'm letting myself down. I mean, I shouldn't, this isn't me. This isn't the best I can be. And I don't like to not be the best I can be. I like to be the best I can possibly be. I don't want to,
Yep,
I knew that I was falling far short of that. And so I was in a depression. And I didn't have self-respect. Um,
yep, yep.
and one day that changed. And it was incredible actually because
It's
funnily enough,
awesome.
dude, it was really interesting actually because I ended up, I mean, I'll tell you a little tiny bit about me. It's a funny old story. A little bit of it, I mean, I'm not sure well, it's a little uncomfortable to share some of this, but I will anyway. Fuck it. I
Hey, I do it too. I'm an open book. It
Oh,
ain't no thing. No one
well,
in here. No one in here knows us.
well, indeed, until they fucking do, until somebody I do know
Yeah,
listens to this and
sure.
goes, "Holy shit, boss,
Yeah,
Owen, pardon,"
true.
So, but there we are. It was honestly, I was at my absolute, really kind of worst, and funnily enough, it was a negative thing, which turned out to be a good thing, because it actually was scammed. It was I got played, by somebody that played upon my emotions and so on, and it's really pathetic as well. It's really fucking pathetic. I think I was what you would call these days a simp, because I was online. I one day decided I discovered chat rooms, not chat rooms in the sense of a chat. Cam shows, cam girls, right? Where you could go in and you could
Yep,
pay the
yep,
money and they would do things in this group or whatever. Fantastic.
yep.
And I found this one woman and she was fucking incredible, honestly. I mean, most of them I was just like, yeah, yeah, whatever. But this one, she wasn't just, this was the thing for me. She wasn't just attractive in the way that I find attractive. She was an absolute sweetheart. She was a real
Hmm.
darling. And she was one of yours. She was a Southern belle, in all the
Hmm.
ways that you can think of. Voluptuous,
Yep.
fun, bright, vibrant, charming, feminine, lovely, absolutely wonderful, wonderful woman. Um, and absolutely captivated me. And this was the thing,
Sure.
I was getting quite bored of this. I'd been in there for a day or two looking around, and I was like, well, this was fun, but this was kind of stupid. And I just stumbled into this lady's room, and I thought, bloody hell, wow, she was so. And I was just fucking me, wasn't I? I was me being me, right? So I was actually in there being quite a gentleman because I wasn't one of these standard dudes just saying like, oh, show boobs, baby, and all this kind of shite. I was actually there
Right, right, right,
giving her
right.
like proper communication, and she saw that and she really
Sure,
liked it, right? She kind of so we became good friends, I thought, anyway. And I was Mr. Moneybags as well, so of course I was enjoying the attention, I was enjoying all this stuff, so of course I was the big tipper. And she turned out was in very dire straits financially, and so of course I wanted to save her, and I thought this was my way of winning favor, of course, because I wouldn't find myself attractive, but I knew that I had a good heart, so I was winning that side of things. And I thought, well, if I can look after her, then I can
sure,
make this happen, right? So
sure.
anyway, spent a hell of a lot of money. But the good thing is, the thing that did actually happen, was that because as soon as I hadn't felt this way in my heart, in my soul, in my fucking body, in forever, forever. I was alive again for the first time in a way that I had forgotten it was possible to be alive.
Wow, wow.
It was
Yeah,
like nothing bothered me, man. Like a guy at work that was an absolute fucking asshole. I just didn't care. I killed him with kindness.
just
I
didn't
never
matter.
got wound
Yep.
up by it, and I was just able to say, "Hey, man, it's all cool. You can just do this and this, and it's great." And people were like, "Dude, how the fuck are you coping with this bullshit?" And I'm like, "I don't care, man. It's all good. You just got to kill them with kindness." And they're like, "Dude, what's happened to you?" And I'm like, "What can I say? Love changes everything." And
Yep.
it really
Yep.
was. I felt like I was falling in love with her, man. And it was honestly, and I immediately, you know what happened? I immediately stopped eating. I stopped eating. I stopped eating all the shit I was eating. I just lost my appetite. I didn't give a fuck because
Wow.
all I cared
Wow.
about was seeing her, and that filled me up.
Wow. Wow.
And I started wanting to move. I knew I wanted to be better and stronger. I knew if I was ever going to have a physical relationship with her, that I needed to get out of this fucking chair. Because at that point, I was so fucked. I mean, I was literally, if I was going out anywhere, I had to get on one of these electric scooters so I could actually go through the shops because I couldn't
Jeez.
walk. Yeah. I said, fuck, I need to fix this. So that was my honest to God motivation. Was I
Wow.
started because I wanted to be able to be with her, so I needed to be a man again and not this blob. And It was incredible. I guess the surge of testosterone must have helped as well, you know. And
Wait, what did you say? What did you say?
I guess the surge of testosterone from the feelings I had for
Oh,
her must have
yes.
must have
That,
helped as
that
well. The
definitely
hormones started
helped.
kicking
Yeah.
in. And
Yeah,
I
definitely.
started walking, and then I started swimming, and then I started lifting, and I got a fucking haircut. And I've got pictures of myself, man, where I went from the thing I was, and I've got progression pictures because as soon as I lost a lot of weight fucking quickly, and my face shape started to dramatically change. I
Yeah.
started to, grow out a bit of a beard as well, so I had a bit of a what was going on. And very, very quickly, I was fucking transforming, man. And I was so proud of myself. And I was sending her these progress pictures and everything. And fuck,
Wow.
man. I mean, dude. And then it turned out in the end, I do very much believe that she was just a scammer. I think she had probably a few people on the go. That's the
Oh man.
devastating truth of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because I thought things were going really well, and I felt I was getting played. There was things
Yeah.
like we were supposed to meet up to have an off-cam chat and things, and then she didn't show up, and then I told her I was waiting, and then she said, "Oh no, but she was," and I clicked the wrong thing maybe or whatever, and I was always upset. And then she'd have a devastating thing happen, and so I'd send her more money,
Oh
and then
yeah. Yeah.
and then she said, "Oh listen, the
Yeah. Yeah.
problem
Yeah.
is my laptop. I couldn't connect. I wanted
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
be
Yeah. Yeah.
there. My
Yeah.
laptop's rubbish, so I bought her a MacBook Pro." I just sent her the money, thousands. I said, listen, I'm going
Yeah.
to buy you a computer that won't let you down anymore. Let me take care of this for you. And then she was like, okay. And then she got the MacBook and she was so happy. And then she said, the problem is I live with my mum and I can't ever get privacy and everything. So I was like, I will get you a fucking place to live. I will
Oh
fucking sort you out, man.
yeah.
So I paid for her to have an apartment and everything. And then that kind of just all dried up. I feel like I'm
Yep.
almost on the verge of tears looking back at it, mate, because I loved her so much. It didn't matter to me. I would give her everything, and I was giving her everything. I wasn't just chucking money out that I had lying around. This was money that I really didn't
Right.
really shouldn't be spending like that. That
Shouldn't
was
be spending.
significant
Yeah.
funds. Yeah.
Yep.
But I was doing it, and she was so happy. She was crying with tears of joy
Fuck.
and thanks and everything.
Which is
Fuck
which is
me.
obviously making
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
like feel
Yeah.
good and
Yeah.
kind of giving you positive
Yeah. Do you know
reinforcement.
what's fucked though as well is that she even told me that technically she even told me she was doing this in a weird way because early on in our chats she told me that she was like a psychology major and she said that she could get people to like her. She was very good at diffusing situations and about anybody that would come into her chat room and would be negatively speaking. She said give her a couple of minutes and she would have that person all spun around and actually supporting her and leave a happy
Right.
person. And I thought, wow, that's incredible. I didn't really put two and two together until afterwards. I
Yep.
thought, fuck, man,
Well,
that's
yeah, because you're
exactly
all like
what.
thinking she's being sincere with you and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
what the fuck? Anyway, that was that. She eventually went away. She said it was all too much and she could no longer cope. And she refused. And I would send her an email, I'd send her a message, hoping to hopefully, help her to kind of just feel okay and tell her, don't worry, I can wait. There's no pressure. I'll just send you a little message and just hope that you're good. And I even saw those emails recently and it broke my heart when I found them again because I was like, fuck me, mate. I could see the sincere, but what happened in the case, and here's what happened, right? I then didn't stop because the feeling that she'd unlocked in me, I was like, yes, but I'm not going to let this go. And
Yeah. You
now
just
I
kept
know,
going.
yeah, now I know it's possible to feel this way just because she was disingenuous and she wasn't the real thing. Doesn't mean I'm sorry. I looked in the mirror and I was like, motherfucker, you have changed so much. You are
Yeah.
now becoming an attractive man. You are now somebody who is worthy, and that you are actually, come on, what the fuck? This is gonna be
Yep.
okay
Yep.
now. I want
Yep.
more, I want this, and I want this to be something I don't just get fucked with next time. I'm gonna go and actually put myself out there. So I kept fucking going, mate. I kept lifting, I kept carrying on, and then I joined Tinder and all this shit, and actually started swiping on local people, right?
Yep.
And fuck, I had some great experiences. I had some terrible experiences.
Sure.
Unfortunately, I was very naive and very novice with it all. So, seeing somebody like me, I was very excitable. And I
Hmm.
found myself in situations where, you know, single mums on benefits would be very excited to meet me, because I was able to say, "Oh, don't worry, I'll pay for that. I'll just." So I was
Right.
just
Right.
still
Right.
stuck in
Right.
that mentality, right,
Right.
where I was saving
Right.
people. I was
Yep.
just so grateful for the opportunity and everything else. So I made a few fucking mistakes there,
Sure.
but hey
Sure.
ho, it was all part of growing. And in the end, in the end, I really fucked up, and I got with somebody that I shouldn't have, and then I felt bad, and I couldn't leave, and then I got depressed again, and started putting on weight again, and fuck me. That's been the story of my life a couple of times, if I'm
Yep.
honest. But whatever. Point is, yeah, that was an incredible fucking transformative experience, and it took that happening to save my life, and I don't look back at it as a negative thing anymore.
Literally
I
saved your
look,
life.
it
Yeah.
really is. It's literally similar. And
Yeah.
I look back, and I don't hold any ill will. She had to do what she had to do, man.
Yeah.
People,
Sure. Yeah.
people have to do what they have to do. And
Yeah.
if that was how she could survive down there in the deep south, if that's what she needed to do, if that was the way she'd figured out her way to live, then do you know what?
And you
Fucking
know
fair
what?
play, man.
It's a fucking it's actually like, not only not have ill will towards her, pity her, because she has obviously a very small life. And
I don't want to do any of that negative stuff,
yeah.
Joe. I'm not sorry, mate.
Yeah.
I'm the way I think about it is I'm not going to do that. For all I know, I don't know anything about her story. I don't know everything about her truth. All I know is that it happened, and I decided to turn it into a positive. It may be, it is what it is,
Yeah.
and she did what she had to do for whatever reasons. We all have to do things for whatever reasons, and then not sometimes not all of us are proud of those things. Yes, you could say from an objective perspective she's doing terrible things, but subjectively, I'm sure in the short term guys have a great time, and we're all well aware of these things. And I look at it and I go, no, fuck it, man. She provided me with a service. Those thousands of pounds
Oh,
that I
I
spent
mean, it's very
saved me.
transactional. Yeah. And
Yeah, in a
it's all
way
very transactional.
it
And
wasn't what I expected, but it created in me something which I didn't didn't other no, fuck me, words. I can tell I'm getting a bit emotional. I didn't ever otherwise think I would have ever experienced. And honestly, the before and after was unreal, man. I'd meet girls and they'd be like, I'd show them what I'd done, and they say, "Fuck off." That's literally not you, though. I'm like, no, but it is. Like, no, 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 bullshit. Like, you're not just showing me a picture of a guy that lost weight. You're showing me a picture of two different fucking people. That cannot be you. That's insane. And I'm like, no, I know it's ridiculous. I'm so glad. I'm so lucky, if you like, that I actually managed to
yeah.
transform into this from this fucking whatever to
Well,
this
definite.
butterfly.
I'm not gonna say it's, lucky you worked your ass off to do it. So,
Oh, big
and
time, yeah. But you can fall
and
off that wagon, and I
however,
fell off a few times. COVID fucked me hard, bro. Like
well,
hard, hard.
I actually myself gained some weight during COVID. That's why I'm like
Mm,
carrying around a little extra weight myself right now. Just because I spent so much time in all these hotels, and just like order room service, or like
mm.
just eat fucking sweets, eat like
Well,
all kinds of junk,
yeah.
you know,
Well,
and
What do you
it
mean?
just
COVID was years ago. You ain't lost that yet? Come on,
no, I
Joe.
know.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
same here then, man.
Well,
This is the thing. I lost some of it, but my point is, I was going to say, just to close my loop, is because I've been through that journey, I feel like another part of what I want to do, along with the Linus Tech Tips, version 2, whatever, is also something to do with helping motherfuckers fucking find life again, and pull
yeah,
themselves away from
yeah.
the abyss, and reboot themselves and fix that shit, and fucking go become take a hopeless situation and turn it into hope again, and show them a fucking path and say, look what you can fucking do, guys. And I've been through it, and this is the shit. I know there's a million people doing that, but that's okay, because a million and one can help even more. And
Well,
I
and
want to do that.
both you and I are like back at that again as we speak.
Yes,
Anyway,
indeed we are. Yeah, I did that just
so.
before this show. I smashed the fuck out of the gym just before I got on the
I
shit.
actually, yeah, I actually just like myself, I'm, I've been over the last, like, I don't know, probably like 3 months now, probably 3 months. I've cut a good amount of weight, and like not just like weight, but like fat. Like cut
Nice,
a good
bro.
amount of fat off, and
Nice.
and really in particular in the last month, and same thing, just like eating a lot better. You lose. I mean, the gym is definitely part of it, but diet
Yeah.
is so much of
Oh,
it,
gym's
and
everything. No, no, no. Sorry, diet's
yeah,
everything. And in fact, the
yeah,
fucking problem with the gym is it fucks you because your body then tricks your brain into saying, "Holy shit, dude, we need more calories now because you're working out."
right,
And it's like, no,
right.
no,
Not all
please,
calories are equal. That's one thing to
no,
No,
remember,
fuck
fuck,
you.
no, absolutely, they're
Yeah.
not. hundred
not
percent,
all
they're not.
calories
No,
are equal.
no,
That's the
you
thing
got to
to
hit the
remember with the
protein.
gym.
Yeah, you got to hit the
So
protein.
I'm
Got to hit the
yeah,
protein.
that's what basically what I've been doing, man, is just like living on pretty much protein. You know, I'm living on fish, living on I'll like last night I ate
Bacon eggs.
well my a lot of hard boiled eggs.
Hmm.
And then like my wife will she's been like kind of like pan frying these it's like what is it? I think she's making a skirt steak. Yeah, skirt steak.
Nice.
You know, so it's pretty lean, you know, it's pretty lean. I obviously would like to have like a ribeye, but um, you know, that's much more fatty. So anyway, so I'm
Mm.
like, you know, been eating that, and then, you know, I'll just kind of put that on top of like a bed of arugula or spinach and
Oh, there you go with
just eat
arugula.
that.
Then that's right. That's because you have a thing called
Yeah, just eat it
arugula over
raw.
there, and we don't
Yeah,
call it
oh, I love it.
arugula. What's
It's
arugula
really
again?
good. Arugula,
Rocket,
it's just like a
rocket.
lettuce.
It's rocket. Yeah, that's what we call
Oh, you guys
rocket
call it
over here.
rocket?
Yeah,
I call it
yeah,
rocket. Interesting.
yeah.
Well, yeah, I love it. You know, it's got that like peppery taste
That's it.
to it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, yeah,
Peppery, peppery,
I
nice and
love it.
creamy. No, me
I
too.
love it.
Beautiful.
Love it.
Perfect with a
Yeah,
steak, man. Perfect with a steak because you salt and pepper
yeah.
steaks. So I mean, come on,
Well,
fuck.
exactly. So you know, I've been eating a lot of that, and then, um, you know, like with the gym, I keep, you know, like I'll go for a week, then I'll stop, then I'll go for a week, then I'll stop. You know, it's like I'm constantly like I'm constantly being inconsistent. So, you know, one thing I was like, well, look, once me and
You're
Owen start
consistently
holding each other,
inconsistent.
yeah, well, like once we start holding each other to account,
Mm.
then I'll be there every day.
Joe, you could have joined me in VR for my workout this morning. I know that
Oh,
that
that's right.
technology is your thing, and you're really good at like technology.
Brother,
Man, I just can't
And
cope with
brother,
that shit.
I was gonna say
I
my dick
sweat
is
like a.
way too big to do a VR workout.
What
Sorry.
the fuck?
It just is what
hey,
it is.
by the way,
What
when you
the
look, if you
fuck?
look down, it's VR. It could be whatever size you want it to be.
Elephant
It's
trunk
VR, yeah.
sticking out, man. Yeah. Fuck yeah. Dude, that was one of the things I loved about. I actually played Star Trek. Was it Starfleet Bridge Command? I think it is. Is that the one where you're
Hmm.
sat on the bridge? I mean, fuck, dude, that was a love. Wow, wow, that blew me
I
away to be
liked
able to
Elite
sit on the
Force was my
bridge.
jam. I
Oh,
loved Elite
okay, but
Force.
it was the VR. It was the VR version, right, where you're sat on
Yeah, yeah,
and yeah, and that's fuck, mate. Oh my god, I love that shit. Anyway, you looked down and you
yeah.
were a skinny person. That fucking blew my head away. I was like, dude, what the fuck? I'd look down and I was like, I was torso and then legs. I could see it. I was like, fuck. And it felt so surreal to be a skinny person. So, wow,
Hmm.
this is crazy. I've never looked
Well,
down and
what was
seen
that
that
called?
before.
I think it was like the. It was that the one in Vegas or
No, no, this was on a fucking no, dude. This I had this in my hat. Bridge Crew, Star Trek
oh, it was
Bridge
What's it
Crew
called?
on the
What's it
VR.
called?
Star
Bridge?
Trek Bridge Crew.
Oh, you were just playing in Star Trek. Okay, you're playing in Star
Yeah,
Trek.
and so you put
Okay,
a
I
VR
got you.
headset on, and you're looking
Okay.
around, and you're sat on the fucking bridge of any given starship, and there are other players. The other players are sat at their positions on the bridge, and so you can look over at them and talk and stuff, and you can wave, and they can look over their shoulder and see you, and they're seeing the bridge from their perspective. I mean, fuck, dude, VR is so cool. But your
So cool.
character
So
sat
cool.
in a chair, had a body. You had a body, you had arms and legs and a torso and
Yeah, yeah.
everything. So you'd look down at yourself, and you were this fit fucking Starfleet officer, all buff and skinny and
Right,
shit.
all buff and yeah, yeah.
hmm
Let
And
me
it
ask
felt
you a question about that
surreal,
stuff.
man. Yeah.
Like, Dunk, when you're doing your workout, and obviously, you know, I'm just joking around, but when you're doing your VR workout, like, do you need to be in like a I'd imagine you need to be on like a basketball court or something where there's
No,
like
no.
no
No, no, no.
You basically need just a few feet around you.
Yeah.
oh, that's it. See, I
Like
figured
six
Yeah.
you'd
foot
need
by
like a
six
really
foot, you're
big
done.
So so
field of
so
like
with stuff like
No.
the Quest, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna call it a Meta, the Oculus Quest. Screw it. Uh, they changed the name because Facebook is stupid. Um, but that particular one, it doesn't have any cables, so you're not like tethered to a computer.
Yes.
So I can go anywhere, and what you do is you draw a boundary line,
Okay.
So it has a thing called pass through, so you could tap the side and you could see everything around you,
Hmm.
and so you could then you draw a boundary line, say like,
Yeah.
oh, I here's my space. So you can draw a really big boundary if you want
Yeah,
to,
but if
or
you
you
Assuming
could
only
you
draw a
don't.
have
small one.
6 feet, if you only
Yeah.
have 6 feet by
Ah.
6 feet,
Yeah. But
and
you're
you're
not running
inside
around.
VR, how are you going
Yes.
to be able to like walk,
You don't. Yeah. You
more
don't
than
It,
need.
6 feet?
you're
Well.
limited to the space that you have available to yourself,
Yes.
obviously,
Yeah.
unless you have one of those really fancy uh, treadmills that Disney was developing. I don't know if you've seen those, that you basically like
Omnidirectional
run in
treadmill.
any direction,
That's right.
huh?
Yeah.
You run in
Omnidirectional
any
treadmills.
direction,
Yeah.
and it actually, like, you could run in any direction in VR, like slide on it, and it would just
But you're just
adjust and you
running.
wouldn't move.
So what you're doing though is you're just running in place.
Yes.
Well, yeah,
Correct.
I mean, if you're doing a job, I don't do like, I do hit workouts in VR mostly,
Yeah, the one
high
I was playing was
intensity
just
interval training.
boxing. Yeah, so I was doing a boxing one at one point where I was literally just stood in
Okay.
a ring and you're just throwing punches and you're just ducking and you're all this and
Okay.
that, So and
Okay.
you can you dance around from foot to foot, but that 6 by 6 foot space is sufficient for that because you're
Hmm.
not really. It's not
Or
like you're
mountain
running along a
climbing.
field or yeah. Oh, what
Mountain
mountain
Yeah.
climbing's
climbing?
really easy
Again,
on
mountain
VR.
climbing. How do you do mountain like that? Again, how, like
I
what?
guess that's a bit of an odd one. Yeah, maybe you're not
Yeah.
really getting
So
much of
you
a
would not believe
workout.
how sore and tired you could be after doing a session in the
Oh
climb.
yeah, just
Like
holding your arms above your head like that. There you
like
go. Yeah.
like holding your arms up, and your arms just feel like
Lead.
worked. Like, you feel
Yeah.
so tired afterwards.
Yeah, yeah.
And like, there may be like a rock that you have to get to, that like, that you might actually have to
So it's
fling
with your.
yourself
So it's just
forward.
like with your arms, basically. It's an arm workout where you're just kind of
No,
like.
it's a full body workout. But
I
I'm
guess
saying,
it
like,
is.
it's crazy
I
how
don't get it. I don't
But you
get
gotta
it.
lift your
I would need
leg.
to
You'd
do
have
it.
to like lift your leg up, right? And then like
to try and
to
reach
try and
And
get
you're
yourself
to the
to.
moving your
foot
arm.
hole, and
I
then you're
guess
moving
Yeah.
your
you're like
arm
moving
up.
your arms like you're on
Oh,
a ladder type thing. I'm
Yeah,
guessing.
yeah,
well,
yeah,
sort of
yeah.
like that, and then the legs are also, because the helmet actually is tracking your entire body as well.
Yes, that's
It's
correct.
watching.
I need to just fucking try one of these because it's too
Oh, and
hard for me to
they're cheap,
imagine.
dude. They're cheap. They're like less than $500 as well. Just get yourself
Oh,
one.
The
really?
Get a Quest 3. Yeah, get a Quest
the
3. They're like 500
Okay.
bucks.
Quest 3 is the one that I'd recommend. It. If you picked any up, I'd get the regular Quest 3.
Which one do you have, Dunk?
I have a Quest 2 just because I haven't upgraded yet, but I would get a Quest 3 if I was buying a new
Totes.
one right
Get
now.
a
Okay.
Quest 3. And it's not even. It's not
Okay.
even 500, is it? It's less than that now, I think,
It's
right?
under that, yeah.
Fuck. Okay, I'll get one. And then like is it how does it work? Is it something where you like
Maybe 500 actually.
download
You, you
games?
you you could either download games locally, or you have access to the internet. Like, another thing that I do on it, is like, I link it to my computer, and then I have my one laptop, right? I could put on my VR headset and have pass through, and I have my
Uh,
real laptop screen, and it creates like floating extra monitors
Oh,
in my
sick.
room.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The
So
resolution is
I
sufficient
have
now
like
that you can actually have screens. Yeah.
virtual extra monitors, yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
float
I
in the air.
so I could have my one laptop and have like a 3 or 4 monitor set up anywhere.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Apple did that. Apple's one costs thousands, but the resolution is so high that it's literally like looking at a computer screen.
Well,
The problem with the
Do
VR is
the
you do
way
you
that
do this
Apple's
too, Owen?
works.
Do you do this too, Owen?
no, I
Mhm.
don't bother with it because the resolution I've only ever had a Quest 2, and that would have meant it was too low res. When you're looking at a screen with trying to condense text and stuff onto it like an actual computer screen, the
Yeah,
resolution of
yeah.
a computer screen in your physical space, if you were looking at an actual screen that was like 30 or 40 or 50 inches, would have,
Mhm.
like a 4K screen, right? But the actual
Yeah,
lenses
yeah.
that for your entire vision is that 4K. So if you're then trying to sort of perceive a 4K screen in front of you, you're actually using only a small proportion of those pixels, and so you're getting like less
Mhm.
and less actual data,
It's
actual
like
sort of
a
stuff.
stretched image.
Well, it looks okay, but it's just pixelated. It becomes
Yeah.
frustrating for your eyes and stuff. So I didn't use it, but
The 3, it's better though.
the 3 is
It
much
looks
better,
better on
and
the
I think
3.
the
Mhm.
Apple one, the reason it's so fucking expensive is because they've managed to get it to be so high
Well,
resolution that it looks kind
the
of
way
real.
it's actually not high resolution, the whole thing. The way the Apple one works is similar to the way that the human eye works, where, like, right now when I'm looking at something, the only thing in focus is actually like a pinpoint point in my eye.
Foveated rendering, I
So
think
that's
that's called, isn't
so
it?
every the only thing that's rendered in high resolution is that pin. It's
It's the
tracking the
stuff in the
exact
front.
point that your eye is looking at, and
That's
it's
it.
only rendering that point in high resolution. The rest is all blurred. So if you actually look at the image that the Apple one is outputting, it's actually super blurry if somebody's watching it
Okay.
from outside.
Okay. But the physical screen is high enough resolution that in the
No,
center it's
only the point that you're looking at.
okay.
That's the
Okay.
point, because it doesn't matter, because like your eyes,
Yeah.
if you ever look
Yes.
at something, almost everything you're looking at is out of focus.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it doesn't worry about what you're not looking at to keep
Hmm.
rendering. It's only
Makes sense.
rendering that little tiny
That
pinpoint that your eye is looking
correct.
at.
That's
Hey,
called
Dunk,
that's
don't
called
don't you
foveation,
need to
right?
go to your appointment,
Oh,
Dunk?
Yeah,
go.
It's 10
Shit.
o'clock.
4
it's in
minutes,
4
bro.
minutes.
Don't leave.
I know.
Don't leave
I'm
the
ready.
tax man waiting. Cool.
Hmm.
Yeah, don't want
Well,
you
should we
to.
just should we
Yeah.
wind the show up here as well? Should we just say
That's what I
this is
was
it?
thinking. We could just
Well,
wrap it up
Not
right
it's not a
here
bad
so
point.
Dunk
It's not a
can.
bad
we had a
point.
good
Yeah.
nerdy conversation today.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
good,
Yeah.
very good nerdy
And
conversation.
I texted you that link, Owen, so you could see all
You
his
did.
appearances and things. Like you enjoy
Amazing. Yeah, man, I'm totally
the
coming out. I think I'll come out. Listen, I
yeah,
could easily come out in like May or June or something and just hang out with you guys for a few days. I feel like I've
yeah.
got
You can
some time
all.
booked
Just
off.
see the days that he's doing that. He usually plays like once a month there.
Okay, I think I will. I think if I can come to LA like in
You can
June.
come. You can come. There's like some good places you can stay at by my house too.
Cool.
Hmm.
Oh, I can't stay
Um.
in your house. Fuck you, man. I can't be with friends.
yeah,
What's going on? Where's
exactly.
here's your room, bro.
Where,
Enjoy yourself.
where's
What's going on? The fuck?
where is it? Where is it? Well, you know what? I would totally give that to you. But you would just have to sleep on the couch. So if you're okay with that, then you're more than welcome to it. We just don't have an extra room.
Fuck it. Why
So
not? I'll sleep on your couch. Why
yeah,
not? Yeah.
that's totally open to you
That's what
actually.
we're
But
doing. That's what we're doing.
yeah,
And in June, you're going to
you
have
would
some
just have
cunt,
to be
some English cunt on your couch for a few days. There you go.
fine by me. Fine by me. I,
Brilliant.
I mean it. It's fine
Right.
by me.
No, that's cool. Listen. Let's let Dunk go. Let's let Dunk go because otherwise we'll just drag this over
Dunk,
his
get
time.
out of here, Dunk.
All
Go do
right.
your damn taxes.
Cool, man.
Fine.
Tell Tim I said hey.
All right.
Maybe I'll get something back. Woohoo! Bye
Oh,
to him, but bye if I
yeah.
do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Good
for
luck
real.
with that.
Nice.
Good luck. Well, hey, everybody, thanks for tuning in,
Yeah.
and we'll be back at it. So
100%. Yeah. We'll be back.
catch us
Probably.
again
What are we
tomorrow.
thinking? If we say, is it tomorrow we're doing tomorrow? Are we trying for tomorrow? 'Cause, I mean, we're going to do every other day, right? But we're going to do tomorrow in this instance?
So
I think I can do that.
tomorrow or Sunday, whatever. We'll
Sure.
figure it out.
I think. Do you know what? Fuck it. Yeah, let's aim for tomorrow, and there's a good chance it will happen. Let's do tomorrow.
It's a
Why
weekend,
not?
Yeah, it's the
It's a weekend.
weekend.
I'm good. I'm
So
good. I'm good.
Hmm.
yeah,
I just need. Yeah. Fuck it. Tomorrow. Come on then. Let's go. Same time tomorrow.
LFG,
Let's do that. LFG baby.
LFG.
There you
See you
go.
tomorrow.
Ciao,
Love
ciao.
you, my man.
Love you,
Take
dude.
care.
Take
Bye,
care.
everyone.
Bye bye.
Dunk. Bye. I'll see you in a little bit, Dunk.
See you in a bit.